Live from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The New Orleans Saints and the Philadelphia Eagles, two teams clinging to desperate playoff hopes. It is 23 degrees at this point. Well, it's gone up a notch, and now a 12 below wind chill factor. It will be windy, and that will affect the passing game here. Hello, everybody. I'm Tim Ryan. Merry Christmas to you. Joined once again by Matt Millen. And Matt, these New Orleans Saints and the Philadelphia Eagles have struggled all season long. The Saints with a 5-0 start. What has happened to them?
Well, you mentioned the injuries, but the thing that I see when I look at them is age and depth. They got old in a couple of key positions, and then they got hurt, and they never really had the depth to take care of it. And then you look at their offense, and I think the word there is inconsistency. They started off strong, and then they came back at the end, and they really haven't been able to do it all year.
The Philadelphia Eagles, of course, lost their offense with Cunningham and Fred Barnett early in the season. You got to kind of like the spirit that they've showed the rest of the way.
Yeah, and the funny thing, when I look at this team, I think this might be the best team as a group that the Eagles have had and Richie Kotite has put together. And when you look at him, I think the guy who really epitomizes that whole thing is Bubby Brister, the quarterback. They act him come in, and he's beat up, and he comes in, he takes the thing over, and really, he's got a spirit about him and a belief that the other guys have in him, and they think if they can win, they have a shot in the playoffs.
There is Bubby Brister, and of course, getting the job with the injury to Randall Cunningham. Ken O'Brien had it for a couple of games. He had a thumb injury, and Brister, who came off injuries himself, as Matt pointed out, has brought a real spirit to the offense of this Eagles team, and in fact, the whole team has responded to Brister's leadership qualities. So he's found himself a home here, probably as a backup, although he's indicated he wants to try the free agent market after this season. Morton Anderson will be kicking it off for the New Orleans Saints, and of course, this is a team that plays indoors at home in the warm climes down in New Orleans, and they are out here today in 24-degree temperatures. So that home field advantage should be a true one. Vi Sikahema is deep with Herschel Walker, and we are underway at Veterans Stadium. Good kickoff by Anderson, lands a yard from the end line, and the Eagles will start from their 20-yard line. Bubby Brister comes in passing at 57% with 8 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. And he will be joined by these Eagles on offense. Tom McHale at left tackle for the injured Broderick Thompson. Mike Shadd returns from an ankle injury. The rookie Lester Holmes doing well at right guard. And Herschel Walker and James Joseph will be the starters in the backfield. Bailey Williams and the tight end Mark Bavaro, who has played every game for the Eagles this year, a guy that was written off a few years ago because of a serious knee injury when he was with the New York Giants. Show blitz early here on first down, but they don't come with it. Joseph picks up about 3 out the left side. Number 32, James Joseph from Auburn. Atkins on the tackle. Defensively for the struggling Saints, this of course has been the hallmark of their play on defense, but they have struggled. Goff, Les Miller, Wayne Martin, of course Frank Warren gone to injured reserve. Smengi for Ronaldo Turnbull at the outside linebacker spot. Turnbull is in uniform with a thigh injury. Toy Cook playing hurt, as is Keith Taylor. Taylor with an ankle injury. 2nd and 7. Calvin Williams in motion. Joseph again trying the right side, smashes his way for about 3 more. Out to the 27-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles. Johnson made the tackle. Von Johnson, their leading tackler, 103 on the season. 76 of them solo efforts.
And they're going to need a lot of help on that defense. They might even take Jim Moore and put a helmet on him and throw him in, because the first 2 plays that Eagles have come out and run the football, creating a 3rd and short. Now the Saints have come out and they've gone with 8-man fronts to start the game. And if they can't stop them in 8-man fronts, it's going to be a long game.
It's quite amazing to see this happening to the Saints as it has the last several weeks. Something they were known as run stuffers. Brister under pressure, throws it up for grabs. Bavaro managed to knock it down. He did attempt to catch it, but he kept it away from the interception try by Taylor. A risky effort by Brister on a 3rd and 2. Nearly picked off. Yeah,
that kind of surprised me there. They come out, they get 8 yards running the football, they get in 3rd and short, and they throw it. And that surprises me.
So Fiegel's into punt. Tyrone Hughes having an outstanding year returning and doing his job counting the number of players on the field. Waiting for it at the 40-yard line. Low snap. Eagles a good job. It's a short punt and is down at midfield. William Frizzell downing it there, and the hometown Eagles fans let their team know they didn't like that series.
Like that 20-yard punt that gives the New Orleans Saints some pretty good field position.
Mike Buck will be the quarterback today. Wade Wilson, of course, that knee injury last week. And Cooper Dombrowski at left guard today. Derek Kennard has moved to center for the injured Joel Hilgenberg. Derek Brown, his second start back after missing 3 games because of an injury. The running back with Brad Muster. On first down, it is Muster getting about 4. Close to 5 yards for the fullback Muster out of Stanford. Waters made the tackle. Defensively for the Eagles, Clyde Simmons, William Perry, who's certainly been a fine addition in the middle of that line with Harmon and Flores. Thomas, Byron Evans back from his arm injury but playing hurt, and Seth Joyner, the brilliant outside linebacker. Allen with Mark McMillan on the corners. Wes Hopkins starting with Andre Waters at safety. Derek Brown, good hold for the rookie. First down, New Orleans to the 26-yard line. Byron Evans on the tackle.
A nice job up front by the offensive line. And they can give this guy, Brown, they give him any kind of a crack, he's going to make something happen. He has been a very, very pleasant surprise. And actually, it started off as a surprise, but as the season's gone on, he's been the guy that they've leaned on to get the big yards for him, Derek Brown.
605 yards rushing coming into the game, and as we said, he missed 3 with an injury. The number 4 pick from Nebraska. Muster stopped at the line, fights his way, and uses his length to pick up about 2. Pulled down by Andy Harmon, number 91. Third-year man from Kent State. Only a yard gain, 2nd and 9.
So you can see that team right there. You know, this is going to be a game of the no sleeves versus the sleeves. Now the Saints come up here, everybody got the long sleeves on, and the Eagles showing that they're tough. You know, they come out with no sleeves. That might be construed as stupid.
Second and 9, Brown crashing straight ahead for 4. Kennard now, remember, at center today. Joel Hilgenberg, injured in the last game, has gone to injured reserve. And Kennard moved from right guard to the center position. And then
CJ right there, number 62. I spoke with him right before the game, and he said, you know, I'm not real thrilled about this. I'd like to be starting. Now they're going to bring me in when I have to snap for the shotgun. And I'm going to be over there freezing my rear end off. Then they're going to ask me to snap the ball to the quarterback. And I hear they got the quarterback under. So no worry for him here.
A 3rd down and 5. Mike Buck's first pass incomplete. Appeared to be deflected en route downfield. They had the blitz on Byron Evans in his face.
And that's no surprise. Anytime you have Bud Carson, the defensive coordinator from the Eagles, he's going to blitz. Now he's going to take Buck. He knows he's inexperienced. He knows he hasn't seen a lot of things. So he's going to bring as many people and get him in his face as much as he can to try to disrupt the timing of that pass game.
Tommy Barnhart, the punter, will hold for Morton Anderson, and Anderson at the 32-yard line. It'll be officially a 41-yard attempt. He is into the wind here at Veterans Stadium. At least the flags at the top of the stadium indicate that. No problem for Anderson. He nails it. And the Saints have an early lead.
One horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way.
At Veterans Stadium, Matt, we talked about the spirit of this Eagles team despite their injury problems and a lost year of high promise at the beginning, and you have to give a lot of credit to Richie Kotite.
Now, I think this may be his best coaching job that he's had since he's here. I think Kotite's done a good job of turning this group of guys into a team. This, I think, is the best team the Eagles have had. They have the feel of a team, they're all together, and they're all kind of behind each other, and they haven't had that in the past year.
New Orleans with an early 3-0 lead on the 41-yard field goal by Morton Anderson after the short punt by the Eagles, giving them field position at the 48. By Sikahema returning to the 22-yard line, where the Eagles will have their second offensive possession.
Yeah, well, special teams is always a big part of the game. But Tyrone Leggett, 43, he's one of the better ones in the league. And when you're in special teams, the biggest thing, use your assets. His asset is speed. Now, once you get down there, you never stop your feet. Watch him get him. Boom. Now, keep your feet moving. Work off it. He's working on a big Lester Holmes, and he gets in there on the tackles. That's good special teams work.
Second-year man from Nebraska, Tyrone Leggett. First down, Eagles. Brister trying to get the offense going here from the 22. Play action fake to Walker. And that is complete, close to the first down. Maurice Johnson, the tight end, number 87. Three-year man from Temple.
Yeah, well, they bring that waggle. They come out and they fake one way, then they drag the tight end completely back across. And you have the option of hitting the near side tight end, which was Bavaro, or Johnson coming across, and he takes option 2.
They'll measure here, as it was indeed very close. And it is first down for the Eagles. Well, wait a minute. Yes, it is. They're going to march the chains here at the 32-yard line. 3-0 New Orleans lead. 24 degrees here in Philadelphia. A lot of cold weather sights today in the NFL. This is Walker. Walker is going to be dropped for a loss. Well defended, stringing it up.
Very well, yeah, very well defended, because what they did, they took Herschel Walker and they made him run sideways. And you win with a running back anytime you can get him running this way. If he starts going this way, you win. He starts going up the field. Now, fill the hole right there, take it outside. Sam Mills inside, Ricky Jackson holding the corner, and then let everybody come over the top. Nicely done.
So it's 2nd and 12, and that's a more typical look of the New Orleans defensive pursuit than they've been able to show much of this year. Led by the outstanding veteran, Ricky Jackson. And Brister trying to get it to the tight end again, off target, intended for Johnson. Sam Mills, a linebacker, coming over on the coverage, but Brister just missed it. That leaves a 3rd and 12.
Bubby Brister, you know, he's played himself played pretty good football the last few weeks. He's played within himself, and that's exactly what he needed to do. He couldn't go out there and try to be Randall Cunningham or Dan Marino or anybody other than himself. And when he plays within his capabilities, he's pretty effective.
Last week against Indianapolis in the victory, 21 for 39, a touchdown, just one interception. Gets lots of time. Sideliner is caught complete by Michael Young, and a first down, Eagles at their own 45-yard line.
That was a good job by Leggett. They got Leggett and Young, and they were manned up all the way. They had a safety free. Now he's going to, when you have the guy man, you got to drive him up the field, get past the first down marker, and then make your comeback. See that? The ball's got to be thrown low. Everything's done perfectly. Nice job by Michael Young.
Michael Young, who came over from the Broncos as a free agent this year, 9-year veteran out of UCLA. First down, Eagles at their own 45. Johnson, the tight end, in motion, sets up to block. Screen to Johnson. And it's well read and fumbled and recovered by the Saints. New Orleans played that perfectly. Sam Mills read it all the way. And New Orleans has come up with a turnover and excellent field position again.
And a good job of the linebackers again of the New Orleans Saints. The linebackers have been the strength of this defense, and they do not disappoint again. Ricky Jackson with the fumble recovery.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Lincoln Mercury and the complete line of 1994 Lincoln and Mercury automobiles. Keystone, Keystone Light, and Keystone Dry. New loose fit Dockers. Nobody does pants like Dockers. And by Transamerica Life Insurance and Financial Services.
Watch right here. Ricky Jackson falls down. Now Lester Holmes thinks he's down, so he leaves him alone. And that allows Jackson to get in on a play and, of course, eventually get the fumble recovery.
Ball rolled right under Ricky Jackson. First down for the Saints. That's Brown trying to get wide. Can't do it. William Thomas, the linebacker, number 51, cut him off at the pass. Early score in from Chicago on Frozen Soldier Field. The Bears on top of Detroit 7-0. A game affecting not only those two teams, but the teams here. New Orleans' only chance at clinching a wild card, winning 2 and needing a loss by the Vikings or the Bears at least once more. And Philadelphia also affected by the Chicago situation. Mike Buck from the 40-yard line. 2nd and 10, no gain on that last play. And Brown is smacked again, ran into his own blocker. Good job by Harmon pushing the blocker back into Brown. He winds up with only a yard. Hopkins on the tackle.
Good pursuit by that Philadelphia Eagle defense. When you talk about suit, you talk about Andre Waters, number 20. And there's one guy who will always show up in every play is going to be Waters. First Seth Joyner forces him out with Harmon. Now here come the boys. Now here, right at the end, see that Andre Waters? When I watch this team, what I see is 3 guys always making plays. Andre Waters is 1, Seth Joyner is 2, and Eric Allen is 3. That is the mainstay of the defense.
A 3rd and 9. First real test for Mike Buck from the shotgun to keep it going, and it is incomplete. Intended out the left side for Martin, the go-to guy on 3rd down. A flag on the play.
They get offsides on the New Orleans Saints. But I talked about guys who make plays, and 59, Seth Joyner right here. Seth Joyner will bring the pressure and force this pass. First of all, nobody touches him, and that always amazes me. Whenever you have a player like Seth Joyner and you don't account for him, that is poor offense by the Saints.
Illegal procedure against the Saints declined, of course, by the Philadelphia Eagles, and Anderson is out for another field goal try. He's hit from 41. Again, into the wind, and we say that with some caution. The flags are blowing against him high on top of Veterans Stadium, but it can swirl around. This is a 56-yard attempt, which would lead you to believe he may have a following wind down there. Bad snap, good recovery by Barnhart, and it is good.
Oh, boy.
Anderson from 56 yards away, and had to hold off on his timing, Matt, because Barnhart had to reach over and put the ball down for him. Morton Anderson makes it 6-0.
Workshop and told his plans to me, so you better want.
Morton Anderson's longest ever outdoor field goal, 56 yards, and a good placement by Tommy Barnhart, the punter. The pass from Jay Hilgenberg, the center, a little off to his left, and he had to do a good job to plant it, and Anderson nails it through, his longest ever 60 yards against the Bears. But that was a home game at New Orleans, indoors. Kickoff taken by Sikahema at the 8-yard line, and Sikahema, good return for the Eagles out to the 26. Met there by Othello Henderson. And we're told that that 56-yarder by Anderson, the longest field goal ever kicked here at Veterans Stadium. These circular stadiums, you do get some strange winds, because the wind indicating at the top of the stadium blowing against Anderson, but by the time it swirls around, we have to assume that it had to be behind him. James Joseph on 1st down, gets about 2 on the left side for the Eagles. And now for an NFL update. Let's go to Greg in New York.
All right, Tim, big matchup in Chicago in the NFC Central. Tim Worley caps a 10-minute Chicago Bear drive with a 1-yard plunge. About 3 minutes to play in the first quarter. The Bears have a 7-0 lead on the Lions. Tim and Matthew, back to you in Philadelphia.
Thank you, Greg. We'll be tracking that game, of course, of much playoff import. Tim Worley appears to have found a home in Chicago. 2nd and 8 for the Eagles here. Down by 6 on 2 Morton Anderson field goals. Joseph again, and he is nailed as they shredded the offensive line. Jim Wilkes and Joseph battling, winds up being driven back inside the 20, but they're going to spot it upfield with forward progress.
You know, they brought the linebacker Sam Mills, and that disrupted thing. Watch Mills come right up inside, and he's going to take that guard right out of it. Now they're going to try to come back. They have to block back, and Wilkes comes right up inside.
Jim Wilkes, normally the starter on the nose, was out with an injury, a triceps injury earlier in the season. Les Miller, who was also hurt, wound up filling in and staying there. So Wilkes now playing as a backup, and a darn good one. 3rd and 13. Brister blitz and sacked from the corner. Vince Buck.
That's good, solid defense. And they brought Sam Mills off the corner, and he comes inside. That allows Buck to come right off the corner. Now watch, he'll come to the inside, and that'll allow Buck to come right back outside. Now whenever you're blitzing off the corner, your passing lanes all have to come inside. Whenever you come inside, that opens up the outside corner, and then Buck comes clean.
Eagles now has to punt from his end zone. The Eagles have not been able to get out of their own end in this early going. Not a bad kick. Fair catch signaled at midfield. Good field position again for the visiting Saints.
Every little Christmas, let your heart be light. Next year on.
That show is going to be on Letterman. Actually, the guy I want to see on that show is Wolfgang Puck.
Actually, I want to see Santa dressed in green on that. In fact,
Well,
that might be Letterman right there. We don't even know it.
Well, this is Eagles territory. He's got the right colors on, and they work for Christmas. Be too hard on Santa. That's the leftover Santa, actually. First down, New Orleans at the 50-yard line. They lead 6-0 on 2 Anderson field goals. Double tight ends, Wainwright joining Irv Smith. Out of the backfield, Muster eludes the first tackler, and Muster for a first down to the 36-yard line.
That's a poor angle taken by Seth Joyner. Now Muster does a good job of getting to his top corner, and then he just ducks it right underneath with his shoulder to the outside. And you're going to watch Seth Joyner come up, and he has, one thing about Seth Joyner, he has great anticipation. Watch it, see? That's a bad angle. He came inside and didn't take the angle away from Muster. Watch as he comes from the inside. He's got to get more to the top shoulder. Now he loses that. It allows Muster to come up the sideline.
Hopkins the man to push him out. Joyner won't make too many misplays. First down, Saints at the 36. Play action, Buck with time, and incomplete. Off target intended for Muster.
And good coverage by the Saints. And they get some pressure. And what they end up doing, they get a little bit of pressure on Buck, but the Eagles are giving him all kinds of different looks. They're dropping back in zones. They're giving a man. They're mixing their man in zones. They go with the matchups. That's exactly what Bud Carson wants to do, to give him as many looks as possible so he can't get settled into what they're trying to get finished.
You saw that -3 degrees in Green Bay where the Raiders are playing at Green Bay. Huge game for the Packers. Sterling Sharp in that game become the first NFL player to have 100 receptions in 2 consecutive seasons. Derek Brown, a lot of running room with a flag down. Brown, a good burst of speed to the 20-yard line. McMillan forced him out, Mark McMillan. And we'll see if it comes back. It looks like the Saints are walking backwards. No, its signal is against the Eagles.
Well, that hole opened quick. And Brown, he blew right through it to the right side of the offensive line.
All sides, 96 defense. Penalties decline. First down.
Clyde Simmons, referee Tom White fingers him as the culprit. Simmons with 88 tackles and 3 sacks. Been playing hurt all season long. One of the fine remnants of that great Buddy Ryan defense here, and there's talk that he and Joyner may test the free agent waters. Brown nowhere to go that time. Joyner leading the charge, and he had a lot of help. All 3 linebackers got in on that. Evans and Thomas joining Joyner.
Well, Byron Evans is one of those players who's always active. You know, they get him back there, they keep him covered. He's not a real physical guy at the point. He will run and get to the football and make tackles. And right now you'll see him doing a lot of those arm over Olay kind of things because his arm's broken. He's really not back from that yet.
Matthew, you frequently use that term, they keep him covered. You played his position, of course. Can you explain that?
Yeah, well, see, what they do is they get all the linemen in front of him, so none of the offensive linemen can get out on him, and that allows him to be free and run the football.
Free right now is Derek Brown dancing his way for about 8 down to the 17-yard line. Make it the 13, pardon me. Waters and Hopkins make the stop there. Derek Brown having a good first half, 42 yards on 7 carries.
And what the offensive line of the Saints has been able to do is been able to get to Byron Evans. They're getting the job done of the linemen getting out and getting on him and just shielding him and pushing him. And that allows the Saints running game to pick up even more. Now they got 3rd and about 4.
And the Eagles ran in 5 substitutes on that play. For this defensive effort here on 3rd down and 4. Buck under pressure, sacked. Clyde Simmons, Andy Harmon, and Mike Flores all in on that.
Well, Buck was looking for Eric Martin, 84. Now, he is the one guy who has been dependable all season long, and a nice job of the matchup zone that the Eagles have employed. And what that matchup zone is you'll start out in man. The first guy will take him, then he'll turn him over to the next guy, and the first guy will look to the first zone.
Well, it's going to be Anderson time again. He doesn't miss inside 40, at least not this year. This is from 35. And he makes that one. Wasn't pretty, but it was between the uprights, and it is a 9-0 Morton Anderson lead.
I think that's the first time I ever saw somebody kick a spiral.
That's the way it went through there. 1:43 remaining here in the first quarter at Veterans Stadium, and later on our doubleheader action, some of you will see the Giants at Phoenix. Washington will be at Dallas, and Tampa Bay plays at Denver today.
You wonder how you could kick a spiral. Well, here it is. You know, it looks like it may even got a hand on it. Regardless, that looks like it came out one of those kicking machines.
Yeah. Morton Anderson has been a steady hand in this job for a long time for the New Orleans Saints, and given the opportunity today, he's 3 for 3.
Let's take a look to see if anybody hit this ball. It looked initially like somebody did. There's a snap, and then the ball gets put up. I think that may have been a paw there. Either Harmon or Clyde Simmons inside got their hand on it.
Anderson will be kicking it off. The Eagles have been able to get nowhere on their first 3 offensive possessions. Walker and Sikahema are the deep men, awaiting Anderson's punt. And you can see the wind a factor out there as Anderson is using a holder. And he nails another one deep, and Walker near the end line will not bring that back. It's been the Morton Anderson show here in the first quarter. Eagles will start from their 20-yard line. Brister 3 of 5, 23 yards. He's been sacked once.
Well, I think the story so far in this first quarter has been the job the New Orleans Saints front 7 has done to the running game. And I expected the Eagles to come out and start to pound them. And Steve Sidwell, the defensive coordinator of the Saints, has countered by giving them 7- and 8-man fronts intermittently and taking the run away.
Keith Sherman now in at running back, and he has the ball, and Sherman gets about 8. For another NFL update, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Tim, at Soldier Field, Detroit has tied things up. Eric Kramer, 20 yards to Brett Perriman. Early moments of the second quarter, tied at 7.
Eric Kramer, who has been everywhere from 1 to 3 in the quarterback rotation.
And back again.
Yeah. Ties it up at 7. Keep you up to speed on that one. 2nd and 2 for the Eagles at their own 28. Keith Sherman again, first down, Philadelphia to their 33-yard line. Running behind Mike Shadd and Tom McHale. Smengi and Mills made the tackle.
Again, an 8-man front by the Saints to stop that. And of course, it's not enough to pick up those 2 yards, and I think that's a credit to the left side, particularly Tom McHale, 68. Now, McHale was brought in here as a backup to give him a little bit of depth. He comes out of Tampa Bay, and, you know, the guy's been playing pretty good football. I think between he and Shadd, they're playing above what they normally could play.
Sherman again. This time he has stopped at the line of scrimmage, got maybe 2 with forward progress, and a group of Saints Push him backwards, led by Ricky Jackson and Les Miller. They'll spot it right on the 35-yard line. It will leave 2nd and 8 as we wind down here in the first quarter at Veterans Stadium. With the score, the New Orleans Saints 9, the Philadelphia Eagles nothing. Tim Ryan with Matt Millen, Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia. The Saints on top 9-0, and it is a cold day here in Philly. The Saints can clinch a wild card by winning their last 2 games. If Minnesota or the Bears lose one more game, the Bears are currently tied with Detroit at 7. Minnesota plays tonight at home against Kansas City. Brister on first down, complete to Maurice Johnson, the tight end, for about 8. The other scenario for the Saints, a wild card berth could still be theirs with a victory today if Chicago and Minnesota both lose and Atlanta loses or ties, and Atlanta currently tied with Cincinnati at 7 in the first period. 3rd down and 2, Eagles at their own 41. Temperatures in the low 20s here at Veterans Stadium. Shadows creeping across the field. That shiny spot will soon be gone. Brister has time, swings it out. Keith Sherman for the first down right at the marker. Driven out by Mills, and the Eagles keep it going with a first down at their 44.
Again, the left-sided offensive line between Shad and McHale is really doing a pretty good job. Watch right here, number 79, that's Mike Shad. And what he does a good job of knowing this offense and understanding where pressure can come from in this defensive scheme. And he's not a real big, strong guy. He's strong in the weight room, but it doesn't really transfer onto the field.
There's a guy that every year they say he's not going to be able to stick with these Eagles, and he's now become a fixture. Brister pursued by Ricky Jackson, and it is tipped away as he tried to throw it back to the opposite side. Wayne Martin got a hand on it, but Brister, with a little luck and some good athletic ability, prevented a big loss.
Not to mention eyes in the back of his head, because he can see Ricky Jackson coming off the, watch him off the top. He's going to come all the way around and put the pressure on Bubby Brister. Now, Brister will have that feel. See, fronts out. Now he knows he can hear him coming. Now do the old curly shuffle, get out of the way. And, of course, the ball's knocked down, but a good job by Brister to avoid the sack.
2nd and 10 at the Eagle 44. Williams in motion. Keith Sherman. He gets a yard, maybe 2. Then brings up a 3rd down.
There, they put the pig on him. Here, that's my guy, Pig Goff. I like him. You know, I talked to him, and I've mentioned this before. And don't call me Piggy, is what he says. Jim Moore, when I got here, he said, Jim Moore started calling me Piggy, and I looked at him like, what are you, nuts? I'm a pig. I'm not a piggy. And that's a pretty good football player. He plays more like a wild boar than a pig.
A 3rd and 8 for the Eagles here as they trail 9-0. Early in the 2nd period. 4 wideouts. They go to Calvin Williams, and Williams is stopped well short of the first down, dropped by Jim Wilkes. And some boos from the unfaithful here at Veterans Stadium.
Well, they can boo, but what they're not seeing is a good job of Steve Sidwell, the defensive coordinator of the Saints, of mixing up his coverages, mixing up the blitz, going with zone and man behind him. He's done a pretty good job today.
Jeff Fiegels, we are going to assume, will be kicking with the wind. The flags up top have changed and are now blowing across field, and that looks like it is wind aided. Good kick by Fiegels, and may well be a dandy. It is down at the 3-yard line. James Joseph nailing it there.
Will I be with you, or will I be among the men?
Sponsored by Miller Lite.
Minus 12 wind chill at the kickoff of this game. It's certainly no warmer than that now. And you can see New Orleans has had the ball most of the time. 47 yards rushing, leading to 3 field goals by Morton Anderson, accounting for the 9 points. Ricky Jackson's 26th career fumble recovery, and that is second all time to the Vikings Jim Marshall is the all-time fumble recoverer in the NFL. First down at the 3-yard line after that good punt by Fiegels. Muster gets a couple to the 4-yard line. We should point out that Keith Millard not suited up for the Eagles today, not due to injury, but violation of team rules. Of course, Perry plays on the rundowns, but Millard normally in on 3rd down.
Yeah, well, William Perry, it's been talked about since he's been here. He's been a big difference in this Eagle defense, and the reason is simple. You know, he just sit him in the middle. Don't ask him to move, be quick up the field. Just hold down the center of the defense. Take some of the blockers off of Byron Evans and hold it down. Right now, he's doing just that.
3 tight ends in on this series because they're down inside their 5 for the Saints. Smith, Tommy Stowers, and Frank Wainwright. Derek Brown, and he's got nowhere to go.
That's because he's got Fridge right in his face. William Perry, all excited, he put that gut right on him and stopped him for no gain.
Does the old belly bump play?
That's the old belly bump. Now watch what Fridge does. See, he uses his strength, he uses leverage, stand underneath, throw him, go right, look at it, put the gut on him. Can't beat it. When the Fridge got the gut on you, you're not going anywhere. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a gut. Forget the gut, the guy can play football. As long as he stays low, he's fine. He gets in trouble when he gets up high, when teams ride him out of there.
Mike Buck takes a timeout here on this 3rd down play at the 5-yard line.
Come on, it's lovely weather for a sleigh ride together with you.
Tim Ryan, Matt Millen at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. A very cold day here as it is around much of the league. 10:56 to go in the first half. A 9-0 lead. And Mike Buck and the Saints back at their 5-yard line with a 3rd and 8. Buck for the injured Wade Wilson at quarterback today. And he is sacked in the end zone. Ball is loose, recovered by the Saints. Thomas put the hit on him. And it'll be a safety.
Thomas came clean off the left side. He's going to come right around, come in clean. Buck never has a chance of seeing him because he missed block up there by Irv Smith. Now the ball's free. Irv Smith does a good job of following the missed block. He prevented the touchdown. Now watch up top. He'll try to go outside with the arm. He misses him completely. Probably miss a call up front. The ball's clean, and Smith does the right thing by jumping on it. Gives him 2 instead of 7.
William Thomas has had a fine season for Philadelphia this year. 4.5 sacks coming into the game, but more than that, he's become a big play guy for them. He's not a huge guy for a linebacker, just 225 pounds. It was a source of concern when he was drafted in the 4th round in '91. They kept saying, well, he'll fill out, it'd be bigger. But really, it's just that excellent athletic ability that has made the difference, and he's a tough guy.
Yeah, he's a tough guy, and he does all those things, big playability. He is a little guy. I mean, he's actually skinny. He needs to get bigger, but his game is speed, and his game is quickness. And if he can beat you with them, he doesn't have to get bigger.
Mike Buck dropped for a safety in the end zone. Rich Kotite seeing his defense rise to the occasion. The Saints beat by the Giants last week 24-14. 2-7 in their last 9 games, and with the early lead here, of course, the early 9-0 lead, we're feeling pretty good about things. But now it is 9-2, and Barnhart will punt following the safety. Mike Buck came into that game when Wilson got hurt last week, was 11 of 21 with 2 interceptions. And into the wind, the punt is short. Sikahema to the 43-yard line. Finally, for the Eagles, some good field position here in the 2nd quarter. Damon Winston made the tackle, reserve linebacker.
Well, defensively, the Eagles have been playing pretty good. And obviously, they get them the 2 points and good field position. But offensively, they've just been inconsistent so far through this first half. I expected them to come out and pound with the football. They've not been able to do that based on the 8-man fronts of the Saints. And now it's going to come down to Bubby Brister finding his spots.
Heath Sherman for about 3 with a flag down at the line of scrimmage.
And that's going to be a hold against the Eagles. They called it right away. The referee was back there, saw it and threw it. And they're going to take it back.
Bubby Brister 6 of 9 passing in the first quarter, 36 yards. 10:36 to go in the half.
Number 78 offense. 10 yards. Still first down.
Yeah, it's going to
Anton
come.
Davis.
Yeah, right at the top, Anton Davis. See, he didn't hold him. He just gave him a bear hug.
Or an eagle hug.
He forgot to ask him if he was going to dance as he was leading right there. You dancing, I'm following.
1st and 20. The ball is at the 46-yard line of Philadelphia. Brister, a quick release this time to the tight end Bavaro, and not a first down, 12-yard gain. They'll leave them 2nd and 8.
Yeah, nice gain. And when you get that Mark Bavaro, anytime you get him involved in the pass game, you're doing yourself a big favor. And talking to Richie Kotite about Mark Bavaro, there was some concern with his knees and his health, and he said, it has not been a problem at all. He's practiced for us. He's been a quiet leader for us. And anything we've asked of this guy to do, he's done well. And he said, and when we put our game plan together, we don't even look at the tight end position. We know it's going to be taken care of. He's been more than they expected.
40 catches on the season for Bavaro.
Come on,
and a loss on that one. Sherman dropped by Sam Mills. Loss of about 3.
Sam Mills showing right there that he doesn't feel any residual effect from the knee that's been bothering him. Number 51, Sam Mills, is a player the Saint defense really is built on. And they go with the blitz, and that's just an error right there by the Philadelphia Eagles. Anytime you get a blitzing backer and nobody accounts for him, that's a mental error. Sam Mills has been the quarterback of this defense for a long time. And they need him to make all the decisions for that up front 7 group.
They've been stuffing the Philadelphia rush, as you can see, so far in this game. And there'll be likely an illegal procedure false start type call against the Eagles.
And they got Calvin Williams taken off a little bit too soon.
False start. 78 offense. Moving prior to the snap. Still 3rd down.
Well, they called it against Davis pulling back, but it looked more like Williams going forward.
That was a multiple choice, and he took C, all the above.
3 wide receivers in for the Eagles on this 3rd and about 16 now. Sam Mills, we were talking about after that last play, at 13 tackles against the Giants in the losing effort. He's still bothered by that staph infection in his knee, but what a competitor. Brister, line shot complete. Touchdown, Michael Young.
Michael Young runs it down and in on 3rd and long. He catches the corner sitting alone in between the zones. When you play the zones, you always play the gray area. Jimmy Spencer breaks over the top, and a poor job by Keith Taylor, the safety, of taking a bad angle to the football. Runs over the top of him, allows Young to come back underneath and score.
A 9-year veteran from UCLA's first touchdown as a Philadelphia Eagle. Coming over this year from the Denver Broncos. And that is blocked, the point after. Now, how often are you going to see that? Ruzek's point after try was blocked, and so the Eagles fail to tie. They trail by a point, but Bubby Brister was right on the money with the win to Michael Young.
About the gray area is going to show up right in here between the backers and the corner, and then the mistake is made here by the safety. He will start here instead of here, and that is the biggest difference. Watch the safeties break up top. bad angle. See, goes to the top shoulder, allows Michael Young to come back underneath, and that's a touchdown.
And the point after was blocked by Gene Atkins. So the Saints protect now a 1-point lead. Music's kickoff, taken by Tyrone Hughes, and Hughes breaks loose. Good return to the 38-yard line. Corey Barlow made the tackle.
Yeah, now here Atkins is going to come right off the corner. The key when you're blocking off the corner is to flatten out as soon as you get the corner. Right there. Now watch him flatten. See that? Go right down inside. He gets the pressure from the corner and blocks it. And so in the bottom of the third inning, it's 9-8.
Mike Buck leads out the Saints. First down from their 37-yard line. Buck 1 for 4 on 14 yards. 3 Anderson field goals for the Saints. A touchdown pass from Brister to Michael Young. Accounting for the scoring, and that is dropped. Eric Martin unable to hold on as Buck delivered that ball in catchable position.
Well, you can see more important than the field goal as a result is where they're getting the football. Look at this, the 48, the 40, and that's good field position, and they've only come up with 9 points. And I think that's a tribute to the Eagle defense. With their backs against the wall, they've done a pretty good job.
Second and 10. Saints 37-yard line. Derek Brown finds some running room and then is hit hard. The ball loose, and the Eagles have it at the 40-yard line of New Orleans. Byron Evans has come up with the fumble recovery.
Well, Derek Brown stuck his head in there, was going to tough it out, go head-to-head with the linebackers, and he lost. The ball dropped down. Watch as he turns back upfield. Thomas, Evans, they're all right there. They stick their head in it, but Byron Evans comes up with the football. Watch, he'll turn back inside. You'll see Thomas come back, get a hand on it. It's Hopkins. Waters is there. Byron Evans is there. Good defense.
On first down, Sherman. About 9 to the 31 of New Orleans.
Oh, Herschel, I never saw him get fired up like this. That's good. That's good stuff. I like that.
Atkins and Herschel downfield away from the play. Walker blocking on the play. Ran into Atkins and tempers flared, and you're right, the normally peaceable Herschel Walker.
I got to tell you, I like Herschel Walker more now than I ever have in his career. And that's the first time very uncharacteristic of him to show a little emotion, but I think he's become a pure team guy.
At one point, he talked about taking up boxing. Well, I guess he's auditioning here this afternoon.
Here's an opportunity.
First shot was from Atkins.
Not good. Then he talks about it, and then Atkins goes to the face. That's good. See, good football fighting always comes with a face mask. Ted Hendricks told me a long time ago, whenever you get into a fight,
we have offsetting personal fouls. Number 28 on New Orleans, number 34 on Philadelphia.
Like nothing happened on those offsets.
So therefore the play
and
counts.
actually, if that was a boxing audition, he doesn't get a contract. It turned into more of a wrestling thing. Looked like your guy King Kong Bundy.
No, Bundy would. Hey, he'd love that. Ted Hendricks told me a long time ago, when you get into a football fight, always grab the face mask, because wherever that head goes, that's where the rest of the body's going.
They got a second and a long one now. The Eagles threatening at the Saints 32. David Alexander, the center, calls off a change, and Brister relays the audible call. Throwing the fade. It is incomplete, intended for Victor Bailey. Toy Cook had the coverage.
Well, Ricky Jackson got himself right up here. You're going to watch him. He's going to be manned up on Mark Bavaro, the tight end. You know, strength on strength, and guess who wins? You see, the thing there that Bavaro does good is he gives his body up. If you're going to go through him, he's going to make you slow down by stepping on him, and he'll try to trip you up. So even though you get abused like that, you still slowed him down and didn't allow Jackson to get there.
7:23 to go in the half. A big third down play, and the Saints may have stopped this one.
They're going to go for it.
Sherman got only a yard. It'll leave 4th and about a yard.
What happens right here, you see Zeke Bratkowski there to the left of Richie Kotite. He's going to call a timeout. But one thing the Philadelphia Eagles don't do well, they're not real physical at the point, and they're going to need to be in the 4th and short. As defensive coordinator, Steve Sidwell of New Orleans Saints, and what he's done right now is he changed personnel, and he's going back to his linebacker group. And this year, the Saint defense has not done well against the run. I mean, this is probably the worst. In fact, it has been the worst under Jim Mora. And there's a lot of different reasons. Injuries, age has become a factor, and their lack of depth. You can see, look at this, all the way downhill, right down to 25 against the rush. That's very uncharacteristic of the New Orleans Saints. And now a big test in the 4th and short to see just exactly what they got.
They finished the chess game. He had his linemen out. Now he's got the linebackers, and they go wide, and they have the first down. Sherman to the 26-yard line.
Good call by Richie Kotite. Now he knows his offensive line is not a physical group. You know what they'll do is they'll match up on people. The strength really is their running backs. And the running back will start inside. You're going to watch him start here and then bounce it outside. Start to use the pursuit of the defense. Nice job up front. Good job right there by Herschel Walker. That's a very good job by Walker blocking.
Eagles threatening at the 26-yard line of New Orleans, trailing 9-8. 6:23 remaining first half at Veterans Stadium. Play action fake to Walker. Brister now under pressure, and he wobbles one out of bounds, and a flag down for a late hit by Wayne Martin.
Tom White called him, Wayne Martin, for roughing the passer. And I think Bubby Brister wasn't talking about being roughed. He was talking about saying, hey, I didn't try to throw the ball away. There was a guy there. You can see it hit him in the face, which is why they called it. And at the end of this, Brister will get up and start talking to Tom White, trying to plead his case, saying, I didn't try to throw the ball away. And White turned to him and said, hey, don't worry about it. I got something else here.
Yes, he did, and it was a blow to the face rather than a late hit by Martin.
You see what they had? They had Calvin Williams. They went with the waggle. They fake here, then he rolls back out. Now Williams will come along, and now he's going to sit in his zone. See, sit down. Now the ball, he's open, but they can't get the ball there. Wayne Martin had the pressure and the penalty. 1st and 10 from the 13.
Brister now 8 of 12, but they have a first down at the 13-yard line. Sherman trying to get wide. Can't do it this time. 4 Saints led by Les Miller, and Toy Cook coming up from the corner. Hold him to about a yard.
You know, if our good buddy Coach Hank Strand would be watching this right now, Tim, he would have to be mad, because watch where the ball is of Heath Sherman. The ball's in the wrong arm. I mean, that should be on the outside right away. And Coach Strand would just be driven crazy by this. And to be honest with you, there was no room on that left side whatsoever.
No chance to go anywhere, and it was Sam Mills who had the finishing hit. Turned it into about a 1.5 yard gain. They're at the 11-yard line. Brister's got a man wide open. Walker, touchdown.
Well, Herschel Walker may not have won that fight, but he just got a big victory right here. He gets matched up on the linebacker to the outside. Vaughn Johnson has to get to him. So Herschel did the best thing. You know, he ran him right into the receiver. They caught him in a pick, and that allowed Walker to get in.
The Derek Brown fumble recovered at the 40-yard line by Byron Evans, leading to this score. Ruzick will attempt the point after. And the Eagles have a 15-9 lead here in the second quarter with 5:22 still to play.
You see what happens is they ended up getting in man coverage, and in man coverage in this league, what happens is their picks start happening. Now watch, you're going to come. He's going to go outside. He's going to have him. going to come back inside and bump him. There will be a pick inside. Watch right there. See the pick? Now, it looks harmless, but what it does is it gives you that extra separation, which allows Walker to get in. And a lot of people are talking about eliminating zone defense as well. The pick is the reason teams went to the zone defense down there, because now you're covering zones of the field instead of men. And then what happens is, if you try to run the pick like that, heck, you just pass them off to the next guy in the zone.
I haven't been among those hollering for eliminating the zone defenses,
You can't do it.
but I do think the unlimited substitution should be looked at, because it's changed the character of the game. I think long term, in the stretch that it came in, it's changed the character of the game, taking away the individual skills of all-around players. And I think that's something that could be looked at. Maybe try and go back to those good athletes and let them go.
You're not going to be able to eliminate substitution completely. You'd have to be able to cut down on it. But getting rid of zones, it can't happen, because all they'll do is they'll go to matchup zones. And I'm telling you, quarterbacks in this league can't read matchup zones, much less officials.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. I don't think that one is going to work at all, but it can do something, I think, about all of the substitution and restrict it in some way.
I think they can restrict it. Yeah, I agree with you.
Don Shula apparently told our ABC colleagues announcers that he didn't like that idea at all, because it would mean that he wouldn't be able to coach. I don't think the game's about coaching. I mean, I think it's about the players, I think. That kickoff went out of bounds at the 10-yard line. Roger Ruzek. And New Orleans will take it at the 35-yard line. This game presented by authority of the National Football League, and the CBS telecast intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the National Football League is prohibited. 15-9, the lead as we look at the fridge. And the Eagles have had the ball for 15:40. And of course, they gave up the 3 field goals early, and in 8:58, they have taken the lead. That's incomplete from Buck. A ground ball up the middle, fielded by Hopkins of the Eagles.
But that was apropos, since it was right at second base there in the middle of that field. And talking about second base and this Philadelphia Eagles field, you know, a lot of it said Norman Brayman's talking about building a whole nother football stadium, and there's the reason. You know, this is a terrible area on the field. And there's a difference, you know, of about 2 inches from top to bottom. It's one of the worst fields in the league to play on. And now it's freezing cold out there, and it's like playing on macadam out there.
Well, a likely illegal procedure on second down as the flags and whistles game.
But you see, Philadelphia, they don't care about a new stadium. They put this right around there and put it right through the middle. We don't want a stadium, we want a winner.
It is illegal procedure.
Yeah, I think this is the best I've seen William Perry play in a while. You know, I think he's found a new life here. And from my own experience, when I went from the Raiders up to the 49ers, you get up there and all of a sudden coaches start to look at what you can do instead of what you can't do. Now, he's in Chicago, and Dave Wannstedt saying, well, he's not as quick, you know, he doesn't get up the field. He comes here to Philadelphia, and Bud Carson says, boy, this guy holds down the middle. So look what he can do for us.
On 2nd and 15, Leonard Renfro comes in where Millard would normally be. A passing down, but the Saints keep it on the ground and pick back up the 5 they lost on the penalty. Derek Brown stopped by William Thomas, so it'll leave 3rd down and just about 10 to go from the 35-yard line where they began, following the out-of-bounds kickoff from Ruzek. So here's all of the kind of shuffling we're seeing going on here, and I think that's something that the league could take a look at. 3rd down and 10. Dalton Hilliard is in the backfield, and pressure on Bucky, sacked at the 25-yard line. 3rd sack of this half by the Eagles, Clyde Simmons.
Now, this is exactly what defensive coordinator Bud Carson wanted to do. He wanted to give Buck all kinds of different looks, and one of those looks is bring the backers off the side. You know, what that does is make you make a decision, and then up top, Cooper never did a good job blocking Simmons, and that gives him the sack. Bud Carson, the defensive coordinator, and one of the best in the game right there. This guy understands X's and O's as good or better than anyone.
Barnhart's punt, a good one into the wind. Sikahema thought his teammate was going to take it, and it rolls down inside the 30.
Indecision between Sikahema and Calvin Williams, and that cost him about a good 10 to 15 yards of field position.
45-yard punt, as it turns out. On New Year's Day here on CBS Sports at 1:30 Eastern, the CarQuest Bowl, live from Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami. The Boston College Eagles will battle the Virginia Cavaliers. And then Penn State and Long Beach State meet for the NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship. Chris Marlowe and Ann Myers will be on hand for that all next Saturday on CBS Sports. Did you ever play any volleyball at Penn State, Matt?
No. What the heck is volleyball? This is football season. You're talking about volleyball again.
That thing with the net, you know, and you bounce the ball over. You've seen that. Flags on this play on first down.
73 offense. Moving prior to the snap. 5 yards, still first down.
Lester Holmes charged with a false start, the rookie from Jackson State. They like that guy.
Well, it's easy to see why. Yeah, he does some good things. He's got a big, strong body, you know. He uses it well. He's got good feet to stay in position. His hands come up. One of the things he doesn't do well all the time is he doesn't always bring his feet with him. He'll get into a guy, and then his feet will stop. And once he works on that, he's going to be okay.
Now we have another one. And 1st and 15. So the Eagles going backwards here with some miscues along the offensive line.
Encroachment. Number 96 defense.
Well, this one's against
5 yards,
New Orleans.
still first down.
Yeah, this 5 yards you can hand to Bubby Brister because I think he just gave him the hard count. Take a listen to this, see what you think. Yeah, that's good. That's a good job. That's the old Jim Plunkett hut, and it gets you to jump.
So that got him back even. One for you, one for me. 1st and 10. Walker smashed right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on that one. Les Miller, the nose tackle, number 69.
Yeah, big Les Miller in the middle, and Ricky Jackson again. You know, Ricky Jackson amazes me. Every time we've watched him, Tim, in the last few years, it looked like Jackson's gotten quicker to me. How can a guy in his 13th year get quicker? And I asked Jackson that. You know, he said it's just a matter of anticipation. He says what happens is quarterbacks go up, and a lot of times they go on the same count. And he said, when I can get into the feel and the flow of what the quarterback's cadence is, I'm quicker because I anticipate it.
2nd and 10, in and out of the hands of the tight end Bavaro, and nearly picked off on a deflection by Keith Taylor.
In the first quarter, there was all about field position for the Saints, and that gave them 9 points. And you can see what they've done in the second quarter, -3. And of course, the Eagles have started to get momentum on their side and get a feel and getting into this game. And they got 100 in the second quarter.
It leaves 3rd down and 8. (15-9). Eagles lead. 3:15 to go in the first half. Walker in the slot goes in motion. A little shuffle pass. Shovel pass to James Joseph, and he'll be stopped short of the first down. Gain of about 6.
Yeah, I tell you, Herschel Walker was the whole deal right there. You know, they didn't quite get to it, but they start Herschel Walker out in the slot right here. Now they motion him. Now watch the block he puts on at the end. Now, Herschel Walker is not a great blocker per se, but he's not afraid to throw his face in. Look at that. That doesn't get much better than that. When you stick your face in, you just shield the thing and allow the running back to get right by him. Brings up 4th and short.
Fiegels standing at his 23. And the ball is fumbled by Fiegels, and he is dropped right there at the 22-yard line. So the cold weather starting to take its toll out here. The drop by Walker moments ago.
Yeah, good job by Torrance Small, making sure. So his job is to make sure that the ball is kicked. He's got to put some pressure, let the kicker know that he's there. If there's any kind of miscue like this, the bad snap, he's got to come along and make sure he makes the play. William Frizzell stays on him, but a good job by Small of making sure the ball is not kicked.
Yeah, and I said the drop by Walker, I meant by Bavaro, that looked like a cold weather drop to Mark Bavaro, because the ball was right there for him. And we've got the wind chill factor here of under 15 degrees. We're starting to see some of those cold weather miscues. Derek Brown for the Saints on first down. Makes the corner and takes it down the sideline for 7. Forced out by Evans.
And but right now, for the New Orleans Saints, this has been a game of field position. And their 3 field goals came off of good field position, a punt and a fumble, and now they get another miscue with the fumble and the down punter, and that gives them an opportunity to be in a position to go in for a score here. So it's the mistake bowl.
"17 touchdowns and 37 possessions in this part of the field for New Orleans. Second and a long 2. Muster is stopped short of the first down. Gets inside the 15. It'll leave 3rd and 2 as we have reached the 2-minute warning at Veterans Stadium. The Eagles on top, 15-9.
GeoPrism has asphalt laminates, foam blocks, and hydraulic engine mounts. They do more than make Prism a very quiet car. They help keep the sounds you don't want out and the sounds you do want in. So before you buy your next car, get to know the new GeoPrism, because what you hear in your car should be up to you.
You're kidding. The heat's off on Saturday? I can't get a copy fixed on Saturday. That's helpful.
Technical support is closed on Saturday and...
Please send up some coffees.
UPS introduces Saturday Pickup.
You'll pick up the package?
With guaranteed tracking and guaranteed air delivery by 10:30 a.m. Monday.
Great.
Coffee.
All for less than our competitors.
How you doing? Hi.
Finally, something on Saturday.
Iced coffee.
Guaranteed to go right. UPS.
They are more precious than gold. Sweeter than the honey. They are more precious than gold. They make wine.
With 3 hours of breathtaking picture and sound on a single tape, and instant playback at the touch of a button, nothing portrays the moments that color our lives like a Sony Handycam camcorder. It's your life. Isn't it worth a Sony?
Yeah, they're getting some good blocking out of number 77, Willie Rofe. He's going to be right here on Mike Flores. Now watch what Rofe does. You know, Rofe's one of those players who's rarely out of position, and that's impressive because he's a rookie. And then the other thing he learned is, look at that. See that? He learned how to hold in a hurry. And he knows he's not going to lose the block, so he puts the clamp on him and then falls down. But Rofe is going to be a special player.
There's some special fans there all bundled up here on this frigid afternoon. 3rd down and 2, Saints deep in Philadelphia territory. And again, whistles. Cooper. Either encroachment or false start.
Yeah, Cooper jumped.
Mike Flores was showing he was about to blow inside, and that got Cooper's attention.
Yeah, watch him right up top, number 71 right here. He's going to pop up a little bit. Oh, wrong move, wrong mark. That's Cooper. 71 is Cooper, yeah. That was Dombrowski, whose rear end I put the mark on there. Sorry about that.
And that was Simmons who created the turmoil there as Cooper pulled back a little early. So that'll back up the Saints here. That's a costly penalty. It's now 3rd down and 6 at the 20-yard line.
The Eagles defense has done a good job each time, although the Saints have had good field position. They've held them to only a field goal.
15-9 Eagle lead. They go to the shotgun now. Buck has been unable to get much going through the air. And that is almost intercepted, dropped by the defender Mark McMillan behind the intended receiver, and McMillan had the best shot at it. So Mike Buck continues to struggle.
Yeah, well, Mike Buck just hurt himself. He neglected to set his feet. He had the receiver wide open. Watch him fall out to his left. Now watch, he's going to throw scared. See that? He had early open. He didn't set his feet, and he almost stole the pick.
Buck now 1 of 7, and it's Anderson time again from 37 yards out. Anderson into the wind this time, and he connects once more. 4 field goals in the first half for Morten Andersen, and reducing the Eagles' lead 15-12 with 1:50 remaining in the first half.
That's another good job by the Philadelphia Eagle defense. Now they come out and they get the field position and they go down the field and they give themselves a second and short, then a couple of penalties, and then when they have to stop them, they come up with the defense and a miscue by Buck, and they only give up 3 points.
Well, coming up on the NFL Today halftime report, Greg and Terry will have all the scores and highlights, of course, plus reports from Washington at Dallas and the Giants at Phoenix, are 2 big doubleheader games. So stay with us and Greg and Terry at halftime from New York as we look at what's happened so far today and ahead to the upcoming doubleheader games. Tim Ryan with Matt Millen here at Veterans Stadium, and like much of the league today, a cold, frosty Christmas weekend afternoon, and that cold weather starting to have some effects out here on the play today. Certainly the snap and the fumble by Fiegels, which he recovered, but setting up the New Orleans field goal deep in Philadelphia territory at the 23. Had a drop by Mark Bavaro. We've had a couple of fumbles lost. Maurice Johnson by the Eagles and Derek Brown by the Saints.
I'll tell you the worst thing about cold weather games, Tim, is halftime. They should not have a halftime where it's warm, because you go in there and you're frozen, you've gotten acclimated through the first half, then you go in at halftime and you thaw out and you come out and you get cold all over again.
A short kickoff taken by Maurice Johnson, the tight end at the 30-yard line. A good open field tackle on him by James Williams, the linebacker number 90.
Well, the ball went through John Hudson's hand, the guard, and then over to Johnson. He picked it up and actually does a pretty good job of getting the ball out there and giving him some decent field position.
We note the score from Green Bay has the Packers leading the Raiders 7-0, and of course they're battling with Detroit. Detroit on top of the Bears 10-7, last score we had, and they'll go right to the wire against each other next week. What do you think is going to happen in that Central?
I think that's when it's going to come down to the last game. I think Green Bay's the team there. I think they're the best team. They had the toughest schedule going in here. Chicago blew their chances. They had the easiest schedule, and they've kind of floundered.
Brister to James Joseph. Joseph for about 7 to the 43-yard line with 1:33 and counting down. Brister in the hurry up. Eagles by 3. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Brister calling the play out there on the field and signaling with his arms. And pressure, he's going to be... No, he's not. He gets the ball off. Good job by Brister. How did he break out of that?
Yeah, that's a tough guy. I mean, that left thumb is all messed up. And then you get a guy like Ricky Jackson right in his face, and he has the wherewithal to be able to get out of it. And Brister's a tough guy. I don't think there's ever any question about that. But watch Ricky Jackson come up. He'll beat Anton Davis, go with the arm under, game of leverage, he wins. Now watch Brister spin out of it. Look at it. Throws himself off, and in the process, I think he re-aggravated that left thumb.
Yeah, that he hurt against the Redskins, a game that we covered, and shoulder stuff is there. 3rd and 3, short drop this time, and that's complete. Nice catch by Williams for a first down.
Good job by Bubby Brister. Right now, he's got to be yelling at his offensive lineman to get up on a line of scrimmage. You know, they're wasting too much time. Get up there and listen to him once you're set.
Alvin Williams having a fine season this year. James Joseph, first down to the 36-yard line of New Orleans. 43 seconds left. Clock is stopped. Bubby Brister showing that fiery leadership, and these Eagles have responded to him.
Yeah, and he also understands that he has 2 timeouts to work with, so he can use all this area underneath. You know, they're going to try to defend out here, so he'll take advantage, and he'll bring Joseph, sit him down, and let him run. He gets himself in trouble. Now look at all that room. Now he knows he has the timeouts to take advantage once he gets more field position. Bubby Brister is probably playing as well as I've seen him play. Matter of fact, I think he kind of epitomizes this Philadelphia Eagles season. Now, things have been down, they've been beat up, they've lost key people, and Brister's come in, he's He's taken the reins of this offense and has turned it into his offense.
Now the Eagles, of course, are now up 15-9. Their wild card hopes rest on a victory today and next week. They got to win their final 2 games. They also need some help. The Bears and Minnesota each have to lose their remaining 2 games, and Atlanta has to lose or tie 1 more of their remaining games, and that's counting today, of course, and the final game next week. So they need some help, some good things to happen, but they got to win this week and next. Brister, and that's incomplete, intended for Calvin Williams. He wants an interference call, and Vince Buck won't get it.
He can want it all he wants. That was very well played by Vince Buck. Buck was right on top of that the whole way. He was waiting for the ball to get there, and once it was in flight, he just had the presence to knock it down. Now watch, he's in the top shoulder. That's good work. Now, look at that. Come right around, knock it down. That's good defense.
I think he might have had a little grip with the right hand. Let's see what we can see from this
that's
angle.
good defense.
Yeah.
See that hand right there? Yeah, referee's not going to see that, but you always, hey, as a defender, you keep your top arm tight in case you miss with the inside arm.
Brister is sacked. The ball is loose, and the Eagles recover at the 44-yard line of the Saints. Wayne Martin put the hit on Brister, and the Eagles lucky to maintain possession here as the clock winds down to the 22nd mark. 3rd and 17. Brister steps up well in the pocket and out to the sideline, complete. Michael Young short of the first down, but the clock stopped with 10 seconds left.
Michael Young did a good job of coming down with that ball because it slipped out of Brister's hand and it just kind of floated over there. He's throwing across field. That's a tough throw. But hey, Brister's done his job. He's got him in a position in the last minute and a half to get down there and have an opportunity to kick themselves with a 46-yard field goal.
Ruzek has the wind here unless it is turned around again on us. Ruzek, of course, re-signed by the Eagles after they let Matt Barr go, having cut Ruzek to sign Barr. High snap, handled well. And Ruzek hits. So Roger Ruzek with the field goal widens the lead 18-9 with 5 seconds left here in the first half. It's been pretty entertaining football in Chile Veterans Stadium.
Yeah, that guy right there, Bubby Brister, he's the guy who's done the job. He got him down in a position to allow this kick to be able to get done. Now, you see, if you're the holder, you keep that hand into the very last second, then blow on it a couple times, and then take the snap. Ruzek with a 46-yarder. Yeah, see that? Then you don't know whether to high five, and you just kind of end up slapping each other.
Roger Ruzek, 4 of 6 in the field goal department since rejoining the Eagles.
Bill Muir,
big one.
Yeah, see Bill Muir, the offensive line coach, giving Antone Davis his foot lessons over there. Now make sure you keep that inside foot planted. That's your pivot foot, and then work to the outside. Don't give up your inside.
Antone Davis, the 3rd-year man from Tennessee, was a number 1 pick in 1991, and I think in that rookie season there were a lot of doubters about whether this guy was going to make it in the NFL, but he has slowly and steadily matured into a solid right tackle for them.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be an all-pro superstar, but he is going to be and is a solid tackle, and he will get better because he has been getting better.
Ruzek hits a line drive, and that rolls all the way down to the goal line. Fielded there by Hughes, and Hughes, good return to the 33-yard line, but that'll be the final play of this first half. And so, at the end of the first half, the score, the Philadelphia Eagles 18 and the New Orleans Saints 12.
Don't you have anything to fit me?
No offense, Mr. Jones, but you are a little on the small side.
I need more choices.
Harry, give me those genuine yellow pages. Look, choices. Italian, Greek, Chinese. You want more?
Those are restaurants.
That's right. You put some meat on those bones and come back and see us.
9 out of 10 use it.
Mr. Matterhorn.
The genuine Bella, Pennsylvania yellow pages from Bell Atlantic.
Are you losing weight?
This is the all-new 1994 Mitsubishi Galant. It has a longer wheelbase than the Camry, more headroom and hip room. Plus, the Galant gives you 16 more horses under the hood. But there is one place the new Galant is smaller than the Camry. At least $2,000 smaller.
Buy or lease the all-new Galant for as little as $179 a month with $500 down.
Hello and happy holidays. I'm Al Meltzer. Today's game's on TV because Channel 10 guaranteed a sellout. Donated the remaining tickets to 11 nonprofit organizations in the Delaware Valley and the crew of the USS JFK. Channel 10 and you, partners in a caring community.
Fans have been praying for their favorite players, but no stretching the truth and no amount of money or fame can influence the outcome of the second annual Terry Awards next Sunday on the NFL Today.
The NFL Today halftime report is sponsored by new Loose Fit Dockers. Nobody does pants like Dockers.
Welcome back to our studios in New York, everyone. Along with Terry Bradshaw, I'm Greg Gumbel. Halftime of the game you're watching, the Philadelphia Eagles leading the Saints by a score of 18-12. And for New Orleans, Mike Buck, his first ever start at quarterback, is not a memorable one so far.
Well, it isn't. He's only completed 1 of 7 passes. But you have to understand one thing. Bud Carson, the defensive coordinator for the Eagles, runs one of the most confusing, complexing schemes of defenses you'll ever see as a quarterback, even as a veteran. So for Mike Buck to come in and be expected to really light it up offensively, throwing the football, that won't happen. Hasn't happened today. They're running the ball. Thank God they have Morton Anderson, who's kicked 4 field goals for them,
including a 56-yarder. Yep. 18-12, the Eagles lead it at halftime. They've gone to the third quarter at Soldier Field in Chicago, where the Bears trail the Detroit Lions by a score of 10-7 in temperatures with the wind chill right at 0 degrees. Wayne Fontes, that is Wayne Fontes, and he sees Tim Worley jump a yard for a touchdown, and the Bears jump to a 7-0 lead, but then Eric Kramer comes back throwing.
3 wide receivers, play action, free safety comes up to take the back, but all of a sudden there's no one in the middle, double post. Brett Perriman wide open. Nice job, good scheme of things. I got to believe Eric Kramer is calling most of these plays because I know that Wayne Fontes knows diddly about this run and shoot offense, or Levy for that matter.
Jason Hanson, a 40-yard field goal, has the Lions on top. They can clinch a wild card with a win and a loss by the Vikings or the Saints. At Lambeau Field, the Green Bay Packers at halftime lead the Raiders by a score of 7-0, and the Packers can clinch a wild card with a win and some help, and so can the Raiders with a victory. The Bengals are leading Atlanta in Cincinnati 14-7. They've gone to the third quarter at Riverfront Stadium. Jerry Glanville looking on. It was 7-0 Bengals when Bobby Hebert went up top.
Beautiful job, Hebert standing in. This is the fade route. There's Andre Rice, and Manfred had one step. Beautiful throw by Hebert.
And then David Klingler looks like he's getting better all the time.
There's another fade route. This is an underthrow by Carl Pickens out of Tennessee, one of the best young receivers in the National Football League. I really like this guy.
David Klingler has 2 touchdown passes today, and of course the Atlanta Falcons play in the Dome, and now they've had to venture outside, and they trail 14-7 in the third quarter. At Orchard Park, New York, the Buffalo Bills are leading the Jets 13-7 in the third quarter. Steve Christie, a couple of field goals there for the Bills. That's a difference in that game. And at Foxborough, the New England Patriots are leading Indianapolis 17-0. That is also a third quarter score. Drew Bledsoe has thrown a touchdown pass. This is a doubleheader day of football here on CBS. Coming up, some of you will see the Bucs face the Broncos. Most of you will see the Cowboys and the Redskins, or the Giants and the Cardinals. 2 reports now, beginning with Randy Cross in Texas Stadium.
Here in Dallas for the Cowboys and the Washington Redskins, all eyes really are on next week's game between the Cowboys and the Giants now that San Francisco seems to have fallen out of the home field advantage race. I've been in this position before, and I can tell you players are looking forward to next week. What kind of incentive do you need in this kind of a game? You need personal incentives. And one guy has a lot of personal incentive is Troy Aikman as far as the quarterback rating race with Steve Young. Young is now within reach of Troy Aikman. He'd love to win this title. As far as I'm concerned, the number 2 guy, the most valuable player of the Dallas Cowboys, is Emmitt Smith. After 12 games, Emmitt Smith has this opportunity to get the rushing title from rookie Jerome Bettis of the Rams and to join some elite company. Steve Van Buren, Jim Brown, Earl Campbell, the only 3 consecutive winners of the rushing title in the NFL. How important is the home field advantage? Well, as far as I'm concerned, the team that wins the home field advantage represents the NFC in the Super Bowl in Atlanta early next year. That's the word here from Dallas. Let's go down to the Valley of the Sun and John Madden in Phoenix.
Well, we're here in Sun Devil Stadium where later the Phoenix Cardinals are getting ready to take on the New York Giants. And, you know, as you look at this 15th week of the season, who would have thought that the New York Giants would have the best record in the National Football League? I know it wouldn't have been me. We did their first game of the season against the Chicago Bears, and I thought they were going to struggle this year, average at best. And then they had a great year. Phil Simms had one of his best years, a big offensive line, the running game. We know about the offense. The defense really impressed me. Not any big individual stars, but great scheme and great team defense. And they do the little things well, the directional punting, the special guy just to kick off, make you play a long field, and this is where it got them. And right now, they're thinking about this one and then the Dallas Cowboys next week. But they better think about this one pretty seriously, because of all their wins, maybe the toughest game they had was against this Phoenix Cardinal team. The Cardinals think that they beat them in New York. They think they're going to beat them again today. They have a lot of confidence, and for them, they're out of it, but this is their Super Bowl.
All right, John, quick reminder, Terry and I will be with you this Friday at a special time, 2:30 Eastern, to ring out the old year with a look at the plays of the year, and then the Vikings and the Redskins kick off the final week of the regular season. That's this Friday on CBS Sports. A timeout here, and the NFL on CBS continues after this word from your local station.
Monday, it's Viewer's Choice Comedy.
Notice anything different about me?
Besides the fact that somebody spray painted your head?
A surprising evening shave.
Nope, that's it.
Then, it's more family fun from Dave's World.
Guess who couldn't sleep?
What's up, guys, huh? Barney on Nightline?
It's the pick of the season Monday on CBS. Wednesday, Johnny Carson is honored for his history-making TV career, a star-studded tribute to a TV legend and his fellow honorees. The Kennedy Center Honors, Wednesday.
This is CBS.
Get the new Mazda Protege with front-wheel drive, a bigger engine than Civic, Corolla Standard, and Sentra Sedan, the best basic warranty in its class, and lots of room for fun. And if you're in the mood for value, get a great deal at your Mazda dealer now. We make the exceptional affordable. Hurry, savings up to $1,640 end January 4th.
Save now on everything you didn't get for Christmas at Circuit City's After Christmas Clearance. Get this Magnavox 19-inch TV with remote for just $197.97. This Sansui VCR with remote, only $169.97. And right now, every loudspeaker is on sale. Plus, get 0% interest for 6 months on everything in the store over $299. Hurry to Circuit City's After Christmas Clearance.
Welcome to Circuit City, where service is state of the art.
This is the sports car no one could match. Not Acura, not Mazda, not even Porsche could answer our challenge to match Firebird's standard driver and passenger airbags, standard anti-lock brakes, and 275 horsepower engine for even twice the price of this new Firebird formula. Soon other sports cars will try to close the distance, and that's okay. But that will be then. This new Firebird is now.
This is Channel 10, WCAU-TV, Philadelphia.
At Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, the Eagles with an 18-12 lead over the New Orleans Saints. Both teams still clinging to a playoff hope, needing help from other teams and having to win their final 2 games. We'll be back with the second half in a moment.
When we finally kiss goodnight, how I'll hate going out in the storm.
Got the portfolio?
Got it. Got the contract?
Got it.
What about lunch? Don't have time.
Do too.
Do not.
You want my stomach talking to me in the middle of the meeting?
Well, depends on what it says.
Oh, come on.
We don't have time.
May I take your order, please?
Quarter pounder with cheese? extra value meal.
The same.
Yeah.
Me too. 4 quarter pounder with cheese, extra value meals.
Told you we had time for lunch.
But you didn't say McDonald's.
Did too.
Did not.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
A Caribbean vacation turns deadly, and Jessica's cruising for a killer.
Clearly, we're on a ship of thieves.
America's #1 drama, Murder, She Wrote. Then, you're about to adopt a baby.
She needs us.
But what if the natural parents sold their children to the highest bidders?
Got the cash right here.
Cheryl Ladd taking Emily back tonight.
It's Viewer's Choice Comedy from Bob.
Can I get you gentlemen anything to drink?
Tomato juice.
Bob, come on, go nuts.
Okay, make it a V8.
A special all-new Bob Monday.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles. LA Tech, light gear. You've got to own the light if you want to own the night. Advil, advanced medicine for pain. And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Tim Ryan with Matt Millen at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia on a cold, sunny afternoon in Pennsylvania. 18-12, the Eagles lead the Saints, and all of the offense on the part of the Saints coming off the toe of Morton Anderson, and some good field position giving him those field goals. But you commented on the solid job by the Eagles defense, eventually resulting in some points.
Yeah, I think the Eagle defense has taken a lot of credit in the first half. They put some pressure on Buck. Bud Carson's done a good job mixing things up. And then when their backs were against the wall, they really responded and only giving up the 3 points instead of the 7. So I think you pat that Eagle defense on the back.
Mike Buck struggling at quarterback against that tough defense and getting his start today after coming in to replace Wade Wilson in the Giants game last week, the Monday night game. And of course, Wilson going down with a knee injury, and that caused quite a bit of comment because a good portion of the hometown crowd in New Orleans actually booed the injury to Wade Wilson, who has struggled at quarterback since the 6th game of the season for the Saints. But credit to Jim Mora, he really got on the hometown fans in New Orleans for that, what he called a disgusting display of poor sportsmanship, booing the injured Wade Wilson. So Mike Buck, the young quarterback, getting the start today, and Buck, a 4-year man out of Maine, a number 6 pick, a very strong arm, has not had a lot of game experience, and he's battling a bit here in this game.
Well, he's having a tough one. I just spoke with Archie Manning, who does radio work for the Saints, and I asked him about Buck, and he said, you know, he's struggling right now. What you kind of expect is Bud Carson will give you a lot of different looks, and it's tough to see what's going on. He says you just got to be able to settle down, and I agree with him. Yeah.
Well, you can see these numbers here. -3 passing yards says it all.
That's not very good. And again, I think that goes back to the rush. Bud Carson's been bringing all kinds of blitzes. What they wanted to do is to be able to give Buck the not an opportunity to set his feet and throw, and they've done that. There's Bud Carson, you know, on his Sunday go-to-meeting clothes right there. Look at those are official NFL football shoes. Look at that. Those are beautiful. He's done some hunting in those things.
Well, it is cold here today, and Bud's been around this league long enough to know how to dress warmly for these cold December afternoons in Philadelphia and other stops. He was in Cleveland, of course. They know about cold weather there, too. So we're ready to go with the second half here. Roger Ruzek recently returned to the Eagles, being cut early in the season in favor of Matt Barr. And from the 15-yard line, it is Tyrone Hughes getting out to the 35-yard line. And the Saints are going to go with Steve Walsh to start this second half. So all of that talk about Mike Buck and the statistics, we have seen the coaching staff have the same observations, and they have gone to Steve Walsh, once a starter with this team. The number 2 quarterback today, the injured Wade Wilson, is the inactive number 3. 5-year man out of Miami who came over from the Dallas Cowboys in a trade in 1990. Steve Walsh will try to get the Saints offense going here to begin the second half from the 36-yard line of New Orleans. It's good protection and finds Eric Martin for a first down. So Walsh does the job on first down and gets it into Eagles territory.
Shows some presence right there. You know, no panic. Knows he has people coming. Buy himself some time by stepping up in the pocket. and then finding the tight end, making the catch.
Welch has not played it down in the regular season this year. His first pass of the season. Eric Martin now at 104 consecutive games with a reception. 60 catches coming into this game. Martin in motion behind the ball. And Welch too high that time, sailed it over the hands of Irv Smith, the tight end. It'll be 2nd and 10.
I think what the New Orleans Saints are going to have to do is start to go to what you're seeing right here. A couple of quick passes. You know you're going to get all kinds of looks up front. Again, that time they walked the safety up, brought the strong safety over to cover Smith. So you're going to have a lot of different looks. You're going to have to start hitting stuff quick. Backs out of the backfield, tight ends on outs, all the little things underneath to start to get some continuity in that offense.
2nd and 10 from the 49 of Philadelphia. Brad Muster trying to get wide, and the Eagles close that off effectively. He wanted to go inside, had nowhere to go, and Thomas doing his job out on the corner gave him no room.
Yeah, doing a good job of waiting, holding up, letting that rest of his defense get there, particularly Andre Waters. I mentioned early that the 3 players that are really the mainstay of this defense, Seth Joyner, and Eric Allen, and Andre Waters, and Waters always shows up around that football. He's been criticized a lot because they call him Dirty Waters, coming up and whacking people, but he always shows up, and that's the key.
3rd down, and 4 wide receivers on 3rd and 8 for the Saints. Out from the shotgun, and that is incomplete. Not a good throw, and it kind of took a sinking move on Eric Martin, who just couldn't field it. Simmons had the rush on Walsh.
Yeah, Walsh had himself some pressure, but again, he shows presence. You know, he knows where pressure's coming from. Watch him step up into the pocket. And then at the other end, the ball is thrown down and to the left of Martin, a little bit behind him. But, you know, in this situation, you know, that should be caught. That is a ball that should be caught.
So Barnhart, his 2nd punt of the afternoon, standing at his 39-yard line. Sikahema waiting for it. Signals fair catch at the 12 and makes it near the 15. So the Eagles will start from their 15-yard line and leading 18-12.
Mitsubishi has just given luxury a new lease on life, announcing the 1994 Galant lease. Just $179 a month and only $500 down. When you lease a Galant, you get luxury you can use. Advanced safety, comfort, and performance. We call it meaningful luxury. The all-new Galant, just $179 a month when you lease for 24 months.
What would you have if you took a taste just like White's Zinfandel and added the dazzle of champagne? You'd have something even better than White's Zinfandel. You'd have the delicious new taste of Eden Rock Brut Rosé, the dazzling new taste in champagne from Eden Rock.
The Olympic men's downhill. Each man has something to prove at a speed that is perilous, against a mountain that is merciless. And each has only one run to do it. At over 80 miles an hour, the Olympic Winter Games come thundering back to CBS. Share a moment with the world.
Tonight on CBS, California's answer to crime is to build more prisons, and they're doing just that. Is it working? Watch 60 Minutes tonight. Then it's Murder, She Wrote, followed by the CBS Sunday movie Broken Promises, Taking Emily Back, starring Cheryl Ladd. That's all tonight on CBS. Randall Cunningham wearing the stocking hat there on the Eagles bench, happy with his team's lead. And of course, when the season began, the Eagles had high hopes for Randall and this Eagles offense. His broken leg has him now officially out for the remainder of the season. Herschel Walker for about 2. Randall was saying just a couple of weeks ago that he thought that he might be able to finish the regular season for the Eagles, but the doctors said otherwise, and Randall has had to acquiesce, even though he'd like to be out there playing.
Well, he may like to get back out there, but he's not dumb. You know, he goes out there right now, he's going to take another shot and ruin it again. You can see only 4 guys have done it all season long. It's Benice 4, Alexander, Bavaro, Davis, and Walker.
On offense, and about 4 on defense. It's been a real tough year in the injury department for a lot of teams. Herschel Walker breaks 1 tackle and gets close to the first down. Near the 24-yard line. And that'll leave about a yard.
Well, Herschel Walker has an opportunity to lead the Eagle team in receiving and rushing. And today only has himself 9 yards. And as a runner, Herschel Walker, he's not a guy with a lot of magic. And you can see, though, when he does get his hand on the ball, that he's going along at a 4.5 per attempt clip. And that's pretty good. That's very productive. As a matter of fact, I don't think he is the best running back on this Eagle team.
Less than a yard required for the first down. Brister dives for it, and he's got it, but the ball is loose, and Sam Mills comes up with it. Sam Mills. Now let's see if they'll give the ball to the Saints or whether Brister was down. No official signal yet.
That ball like it came flying out of there.
Sure did. It ought to be New Orleans ball, but we'll wait and see. Well, we're going to have a congressional caucus down here to make sure they get the right call.
Now, watch Brister. He'll stick the ball away, and then he starts to go down, but that ball's out before he's ever down. That's clearly a fumble.
But was it clear to the officials on the field? So far, no signal.
Well, they may get a major break here.
Now, I know a lot of folks are going to say, you know, wow, I wish we had replay. Because this replay indicates that Brister fumbled it before he went down, but I like that human error factor myself, but it may not be an error.
That's a bad call, Tom White.
Still had the ball. First down for Philadelphia.
There's an editorial comment that leaked over our airwaves. That I think.
Well, I have to agree with them. And here's the obvious. Look at this. He's hit right there by Les Miller, and the ball comes clean. And I have to agree with the assessment of the player that is a bunch of bull baloney.
So the Eagles maintain possession at the 25-yard line. Walker for 5.
Now, I mentioned that I didn't think Herschel Walker was the best running back. I think Heath Sherman and Vaughn Hebron as running backs are shiftier. They have better magic in the hole. They can make you miss. Herschel Walker is a power guy, and he has to have a hole to get his yardage. I think if you hand the ball off to Vaughn Hebron as many times and make him the feature back, he'll get some big yards for it.
Lucky from Virginia Tech to get a carry in this game, an exciting young running back. That's James Joseph that time. He gets a couple more. It'll leave 3rd down and about 3 for the Eagles. Wayne Martin on the tackle. Sam Mills there as well. 3rd down and 3.
They ran right in the middle of that Eagle offense where they're really not real strong. And Dave Alexander, the center, is there, number 72. Alexander is not an overpowering guy. What Alexander is a guy who can make all the calls up front, and then he'll stay in your way. But if you have a physical guy in your nose and you're Alexander, you're going to have a tough day.
Brister, and incomplete. The yardage was there, too, for Victor Bailey, the rookie. But again, this is a cold afternoon. We've seen a few more drops and fumbles than you would normally in better conditions. But the rookie, Bailey, unhappy with himself. That was a 1st down, and he had the yardage.
Well, he made his break, and the ball came behind him. This is going to have to be a pure hands catch, and Bailey can't come down with it. Watch, he'll be breaking to the top. Now watch him come back. That's got to be all hands, and he doesn't have the hands on this play.
So Fiegels will punt, and hits from the 22-yard line. Pretty good kick. Fair catch signal back at the 27-yard line of New Orleans by Tyrone Hughes.
You would even say it glows. All of the other reindeer.
You don't stop playing baseball after 27 years and then just sit around. Over my career, I developed habits that keep me in shape. Regular workouts will always be a part of my life. And when I get sore, I take Advil. It's strong, it works, and I know it helps. And Advil's gentler on my stomach than aspirin. I know if I keep working out, I'll stay in shape. And when I get sore, Advil will keep working for me. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Mitsubishi has just given luxury a new lease on life, announcing the 1994 Galant lease. Just $179 a month and only $500 down. When you lease a Galant, you get luxury you can use. Advanced safety, comfort, and performance. We call it meaningful luxury. The all-new Galant, just $179 a month when you lease for 24 months.
Listen, it's a credit card. It does not make you a superhero. Actually, maybe it does. I mean, no card is more accepted on the planet, so you can use it for practically anything, like plane tickets. So you could fly like a superhero, or at the hospital, so you'd have X-ray vision. And you can use it to get cash at ATMs all over. So in any situation, you can just say, stand back, I'll handle this. So maybe MasterCard could make you a superhero. All you need now is a secret identity. MasterCard, it's more than a credit card. It's smart money.
One of the nation's most prolific passers, Glenn Foley, pilots Boston College against Virginia's Take No Prisoners defense. The CarQuest Bowl, New Year's Day on CBS.
Tim Ryan and Matt Millen, Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia. You're looking at Wade Wilson, and he must have seen our camera on him there. He gave us a little better look at him. Wilson with a strained left knee, suffered in the game against the Giants on Monday night. And, of course, you saw probably on the NFL Today earlier that Jim Mora, his coach, really ripped the New Orleans fans, those among them, not all of them did it, but those among them who cheered at Wilson's injury in the losing effort last Monday night. Walsh, and that's incomplete, intended for Martin, off target. Steve Walsh, who came in to replace Mike Buck, who had started for the injured Wade Wilson.
Well, he had himself some good time, and part of that time is right here, number 77, Willie Rope. Now watch Rope with the hands. See, I talked about good hands and feet. Now he gets a good extension, keeps working those feet back, and never allowing Flores to be able to get in there.
Mora raves about the performance of this rookie from Louisiana Tech. Martin, their top receiver, has left the field with some kind of an injury. 2nd and 10, New Orleans at their own 29. Walsh, and it's picked off by Eric Allen. He'll score. Touchdown.
Number 21 of the Eagles is a big play guy. And what he does well is anticipate. Watch him break underneath early. He makes the break on the ball before Early gets into the pattern. And then it's clear sailing and 6 points.
5th interception of the season for Eric Allen. 33 yards for the score. Ruzick will attempt the point after. And it is no good. Wide to the left. 9:39 to go in the third. 24-12 Eagles.
Outlasts the Energizer battery. It keeps going and going.
Alka-Seltzer Plus Night Times beats powerful medicines to free your breathing, soothe your aches,
and quiet your cough so you can rest, all without alcohol. Nothing rushes relief like Alka-Seltzer Plus Nighttime.
Dean Witter believes every investor's success story is unique. From getting in on the ground floor to getting all the way to the top, Dean Witter can help you make it every step of the way.
We measure success one investor at a time.
Drunk driving doesn't just kill drunk drivers. Next time your friend insists on driving drunk, do whatever it takes to stop him.
.9:39 remaining third quarter. Eric Allen's third touchdown of the season. He talked about his importance to this team.
Yeah, well, you can see 21, he's going to come back across. And what I talked about earlier is anticipation and an understanding of what the team is trying to do to you. He'll make the break. The thing that's impressive is we talked about New Orleans having to get some continuity by going with the underneath passing game. Eric Allen understands that as well as anybody. And then, of course, he throws the ball into the stands to pick up the fine to boot.
So Steve Walsh victimized by Eric Allen trying to get the ball to Quinn Early. Walsh in relief of the unsuccessful Mike Buck, and Buck who had started for the injured Wade Wilson. Short kickoff to the 15-yard line. Hughes brings it back to the 44. Tyrone Hughes.
Well, Tyrone Hughes is having a Pro Bowl year, and he's having one of the best years of his career, obviously. But I spoke with Vi Sikahema the other day, and he was watching tapes, and I went in to look what he was watching at, and here he's watching Hughes. He thinks Hughes is not only having a great year, but he thinks he sets his blockers up as well as any return man in the game, and he gets his vote for Pro Bowl.
Hughes on kickoff returns averaging 25.8 yards a return and 22 returns. That is good stuff. On first down, Derek Brown. Brown hit hard. The ball is loose. That play whistled dead. Hopkins.
Yeah, it was Hopkins. And again, Bud Carson walks Hopkins up right at the last second to give him that 8-man front, and then Hopkins does a good job of seeing everything in front of him and steps right into the hole. Now watch him right at the end. He's going to start come walking up, then he'll find the hole and make the tackle right inside. Watch him slide right back in. Boom! Nice shot. It's good defense.
Welch complete. Floyd Turner.
Oh, Floyd Turner with the Jets.
Brought down from behind, the ball loose in the end zone.
Doesn't matter. The referee is pointing down. The play is dead on the 2-yard line.
McMillan made the tackle from behind, and that's where it will be signaled dead at the 2. 52 yards. Welch to Floyd Turner.
Watch in the middle. This is the matchup of McMillan. He's going to come right across the top. They run the zone underneath. Now watch him come clean across with McMillan and Chase, and right here he turns on the Jets and starts running away from people. Now McMillan will take the good angle, work to the top shoulder, and just runs him down. Now once the ball is loose by the field, the referee points and it stays right there.
By contact. On first down, touchdown. Brad Muster.
And that was all Brad Muster. They ran that quick trap inside. Muster got hit, and then he just put his big body to work and picked up the 2 yards for the score. So just that fast, we got ourselves a football game again. Goes to 24-18 with a chance to go to 19. Watch the trap inside. There, the trap fridge, nice block right there. And then it's Muster. Get the body and use that lean. He's able to take Chelinski right into the end zone.
Morton Anderson for the point after. And he's got it. And there is the hero of the moment, Floyd Turner, who came in for the injured Eric Martin, and it's now 24-19.
You are about to experience the extraordinary power of renewal from Rayovac, a new kind of alkaline battery created to be reusable 25 times or more with the Renewal Power Station. Inside, there's a microchip that knows how much power each Renewal battery needs and custom charges it for you. So you get maximum life from every battery with alkaline power in every charge. That's the power of renewal from Rayovac.
It's about an hour each way. But somehow in my Taurus, I don't mind.
I've never liked storms. Now I don't really notice them much.
Seems like everything's getting more streamlined. Wish I could say the same for myself.
For so many people, for so many reasons. Ford Taurus, the best-selling car in America.
What do you smell?
I can't smell anything. My nose is clogged, yeah.
For fast relief, try Dristan 12-hour nasal spray. Now smell.
It's an orange. Dristan nasal spray just works incredibly fast.
Dristan, the face of relief today.
Geronimo thunders across the big screen like a herd of wild horses. Jason Patric, Robert Duvall, Gene Hackman, and Wes Studi as Geronimo. Rated PG-13. At theaters now.
(24-19) now. The Eagles lead. 7:54 to go in the third. Steve Walsh, the third quarterback of the Saints, passing 54 yards to Floyd Turner. Turner coming in when Eric Martin went down with a concussion. He may not be back in this game, their top receiver. Turner normally the third wideout when they go to that alignment. Muster scored from 2 yards after Turner was dropped at the 2. Anderson's kickoff taken by Sikahema. Leads the first man, gets out to the 18-yard line, stopped by Fred McAfee. Bears have gone on top of Detroit 14-13.
Well, yeah, see right here, this man's going to have zone. Everybody else will be manned up, and then they'll go with the two safeties over the top to zone back here. Now what that does is that puts Eric Allen man-to-man on Turner. Watch him come across. This is where your help is supposed to come from. He does a poor job of reading, and then it's just all Turner's speed. And then across the top, watch McMillan take the angle and the burst right there. Of course, this leads to the touchdown, a 2-yard run by Muster. Watch the block inside. Boom, right there. That's a nice block on Fridge. And then Muster takes Chelinski in for the score.
First down, Eagles. Herschel Walker to the 22-yard line for about 3. For an NFL update, let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York.
All right, Tim, you were just talking about it. Jim Harbaugh's 1-yard touchdown run. Kevin Butler made an extra point, nullified because of a penalty, then missed one, and another penalty allowed him a third try. He made it, and the Bears lead at 14-13 in the fourth, Tim.
Big game, Greg, in the NFC Central, and I know you'll keep us up to date on that one as it progresses through that final quarter. Second down and 7 here, Eagles. Swing out for Herschel Walker. He's met on the corner and got maybe 2. Joel Smengi, who got the start today for the injured Ronaldo Turnbull. Turnbull out with a thigh injury. Smengi making the tackle.
Joel Smengi, what he does well is run. When you watch him, he comes off the corner. He's not a real big guy, but what he can do is he can get in the passing lanes well, and then he runs to the football. And there's a couple things that you can't teach, and speed is one of them, and Smengi has speed.
6'5", 250-pounder from Western Michigan.
It's funny how you can see a guy who's 250 pounds and say he's skinny.
Third down and 3. Brister connects with Walker. Perfect strike for the first down to the 33-yard line of Philadelphia. Wilkes and Ricky Jackson on the tackle.
It's funny, Herschel Walker says, people are always surprised when they see me catch a football like I don't do it. He's, I'm one of the best receivers around. And I have to agree with him. This guy knows how to catch a ball. He understands the pass game, uses his body well to use body position, and he still has the speed. The Eagles will use him in a 4-receiver set as a 4th wide receiver.
65 catches now on the season for Walker. Even in Dallas, they used him frequently in the slot because of his good pass receiving ability. And running this time, and that's classic Walker. Straight ahead, shoulders squared up. That's when he's at his best. 9 yards on the gain.
Well, you want to know the difference between Herschel Walker now and Herschel Walker a few years ago is when Herschel was getting the ball a few years ago, he used to put a little bit too many baby steps right here. See, now there's no hesitation. Now he's taking the ball and he's just blowing it right up the field. And that's the difference in Walker. And a good job by the offensive line. Anton Davis with the block. Holmes with a nice trap there on Ricky Jackson. Good work by that offensive line.
Second and long yard. James Williams in at linebacker for Vaughn Johnson for the Saints. And it is Joseph, first down to midfield.
Now it's time for Steve Sidwell, the coordinator of the Saint defense, to give them them 8-man fronts and start taking away this run game. Now, to date, he's done that. And now he's found something that he's going to, keeping them a couple traps inside, keeping that defensive front off balance. He's running right and left, trap inside, power run right up the middle.
First down at midfield. Eagles leading 24-19 here in the third. Walker hit hard at the line of scrimmage, showing his power. He dragged Ricky Jackson for about 2 yards from the point of contact, but that got him just back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, well, you can trap Ricky Jackson once and probably get him, and you try to run it again, you're not going to get him. And that's why he's been so good, because he'll go inside and out. Watch Jackson come off the corner. They're going to try to bring the trap on him with Shad, and watch him dip. So use the shoulder, get right up inside, and make the play. Ricky Jackson, for 13 years, he always shows up.
Turned into about a half-yard gain for Walker. Brister, quick release, good coverage, holding it to about a 4-yard gain for Victor Bailey. And Brister took a lick.
Nice job by Atkins of reading the pattern. Yeah, the sign of a good safety is he will be able to read the pattern as fast as that quarterback is reading the defense. And he'll make his decision as the quarterback's making decision. And the way you'll see that is when the ball's delivered, the safety will show up right inside.
Ronaldo Turnbull has come in for the pass rush here now, and Jimmy Spencer into the secondary for New Orleans. Third down and 5. 3 wide receivers for Philadelphia. Brister, that's complete, and it is a first down. Calvin Williams, a 4-year man from Purdue who has really done a job, especially since Fred Barnett went down early in this season.
Watch Calvin Williams. First of all, he knows where the ball is, and then he's got to come down with a catch. He knows where that first down marker is. Watch, they're going to bring the corner Cook right around the side, and nobody ever sees him. He comes clean, but he just can't get there because Brister gets the ball off too quick.
Inside the 40 of New Orleans. James Joseph smashing for 4, maybe 5, depending on the spot. Joseph, the third-year man from Auburn, becoming kind of a Keith Byers type for the Eagles. Slowly worked his way into the lineup and gets quite a bit of playing time. They'll line him up on the wing. He's played a little bit of tight end. He can run it, he can catch it.
He's got some magic, too. He's got some movement at the line of scrimmage. He can make you miss. He's got a big old body on him. He's a pretty good football player. And I think the strength of this Philadelphia Eagle offense is their running backs.
On the 35-yard line, second down, Eagles. Williams in motion. Brister incomplete.
A good defense by Keith Taylor. Nice anticipation.
Batting it away from Bavaro, and looked like the ball did not come off Brister's hand very well.
You can see the 3 guys that got there, Sherman, Walker, and Joseph. And again, you know, they get themselves their running game going, and they don't really rely on one guy. They rely on that offensive front, their linemen, to be able to stay on blockers and then just let their running backs do the rest. They don't try to overpower you, they just try to get in your way.
They line up Herschel Walker in the slot left, making it 4 wideouts on this third down. is on. They go to Walker, and he's got the first down.
Nice job by Bubby Brister of knowing where he has to go. They take Walker, they bring him in and then back out, and that will allow Toy Cook to have to be in coverage, but he's only got 4 yards to go. You see Cook at the top. Brister sees it right away, gets the ball right out there, and then just use the power. Nice job by Cook actually making sure he gets the tackle.
Bubby Brister is on fire out here. 4th catch by Walker. Brister, a fiery kind of a guy. We've talked about that, and these Eagles responding to him, and he's really giving them a lift. First down at the 25. Herschel Walker again. Walker with a good hole and running straight ahead once more for about 9.
Yeah, well, Lester Holmes, they went with the counter OT. This time they used the back, and they bring Lester Holmes around with a nice block on the outside on Turnbull. Watch him, he's going to come here, and then the back is going to come, and he'll end up as the tackle. And they'll keep Davis right there, and I'll watch the block. Nice block on Turnbull. Nice block by Joseph. And they pick up a big yardage, go to 2nd and short.
Ford announces the news truck buyers have been waiting for. The best lease ever on Ford F-Series pickups. Now you can lease America's #1 pickup, Ford F-Series, for $229 per month for 24 months, but only for a limited time. These trucks are loaded with features including driver's side airbag, V8 engine, automatic transmission, air conditioning, and the XLT package. Get the best of terms on the best-selling trucks in America. Drive home this loaded F-Series XLT for $229 per month. Hurry, this offer ends January 3rd, 1994. See your Ford dealer now.
Nothing outlasts the Energizer battery. It keeps going and...
Do you dream in color? In bottomless blues and screaming yellows? In sounds that shake you to the bottom of your heart? In images clear as crystal and brilliant as ice? In faraway worlds as close as your fingertips? These are what dreams and Sony Trinitron televisions are made of. Make one come true for you. It's your life. Isn't it worth a Sony?
Normally when you run a counter OT, you take this guy, the tackle, and you pull him. But when you have a tackle who doesn't run well, you have him seal, and then you take the fullback and bring him along with the guard. And what that does is that gives you better mobility, in this case Joseph, and he's able to get out there and make that block to allow Walker to come up inside for a big gain.
13th play of this impressive Eagles drive. Walker has 66 total yards, equally divided between running and passing. James Joseph trying for the first down here is short by about a yard, maybe a little more. Hit by Sam Mills.
The Eagles are not as effective running straight ahead. As I mentioned earlier, they're not real strong at the center position and the left guard position. That's Shad and Alexander. They're not real physical guys. But what they do is they run better off the corners and they're out the off tackle kind of plays where they're most productive.
Well, we've got doubleheader action here on CBS today. The next games will feature the Giants at Phoenix, Washington at Dallas, and the Buccaneers will be at Denver. So stay with us. There's lots more football activity ahead this afternoon on CBS Sports. A 3rd and 1 for the Eagles with a timeout on the field, and you can see the folks here are bundled up in all kinds of attire, whatever way they can, and some of those seats are bundled up too.
Yeah, look at that guy sitting right there. There's nothing there.
There are some empty seats here this afternoon. It's pretty darn cold in Philadelphia this Christmas weekend. And even our card-carrying sign bearers are covered up against the cold down there on the field.
The heck would a photographer have a look at it, there's a stopwatch hanging off that guy taking a picture. The heck would you have a stopwatch for unless he wants to measure hang time here in Eagle Stadium? Sure.
3rd and a yard, Eagles. 14th play of this drive. Vaughn Hebron's first carry of the day, and he appears to have a first down. It'll be close.
Well, you can see that the Eagle coaching staff knows also that the strength of their offense isn't straight ahead, so they go off tackle to give themselves a better shot.
And they will probably measure this one.
There's the offensive triumvirate right there. Zeke Bradkowski, Bill Muir, and Richie Kotite. Gee, you know, I think they have to follow each other around. Looks like they're all connected to the same cable.
Well, let's hope they are. Otherwise, they're going to get 3 sets of instructions. First down, Eagles at the 15-yard line.
And where the heck do those cords go? I think they must have one thing. You know, they have 3 different headsets, and they all come back to one thing. And then they got to follow each other around. You know, and then as you're a player, you walk around and you step on those cords, and they get mad at you. One way to get back at your coach, step on his cord when he walks by you.
Somehow, why do I have the feeling you probably did that as a player? That's the end of the third quarter. With the score, the Eagles 24, the Saints 19. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
This is CBS.
Isn't it strange that people spend 5 days a week trapped inside an office, only to spend their weekends trapped inside a fence? Presenting the 1994 24-valve 175 horsepower rodeo. It can take you where you won't feel boxed in. Isuzu, practically amazing.
Oh, man. Look what you did. What I did? Just who do you think you are, man? Who do you think I am?
Easy, fellas. What would he do?
Oh, the Yellow Pages?
Just any Yellow Pages?
Genuine Yellow Pages.
9 out of 10 use it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The genuine Bella, Pennsylvania Yellow Pages from Bell Atlantic.
Where's the biggest celebration in town? At your Toyota dealer. It's a 15th annual Toyota-thon. Take advantage of our one-price 2- or 4-door Tercel DX with extra value option package savings. Either one price. And the Toyota Touch lease on Corolla means low payments. Corolla's been a benchmark of quality in America for over 25 years. There are Toyota Touch leases on all car and truck models, and that can make Toyota quality very affordable. You could be driving home a new Toyota tonight. See your Toyota dealer now.
Al Meltzer, sports, part of the Channel 10 news team, weeknights at 6.
Tim Ryan with Matt Millen in Philadelphia. 3 Morton Anderson field goals had the Saints in front 9-0 at the end of 1. As you can see, the Eagles have taken the play away since then with an 18-point second quarter, and they're on the doorstep again at the 15-yard line. First down as we begin the fourth quarter. Herschel Walker breaks a tackle and gets inside the 10. Got away from James Williams, who wound up tripping him up, but he got extra yardage. Gain of 5.
Yeah, they see something on this defensive right side, and here comes Holmes again with the trap, pulled rather, and then just get your bodies on people and let Herschel Walker do the rest. You don't have to necessarily be an overpowering blocker, but you do have to be able to get your body on somebody to allow Walker to have some room.
16th play of this drive. Walker again close to the first down, which they can pick up at the 5-yard line. They'll spot that at the 16, a yard short. 3rd and 1.
Well, the offensive line is really doing a job right now. You know, they're playing within themselves. Their Philadelphia Eagle offensive coordinator has not asked them to do anything what they can't do. So McHale, Shad, Alexander, Holmes, and Davis are playing to their strengths. And what that is, again, is getting bodies on people, running the edges, off-tackle kind of things, counter OTs. That's what they do well.
3rd and a yard. Jim Wilkes comes in to make it a 4-down line situation. Play fake. Brister. Touchdown. Mark Bavaro.
Terrific call by Richie Kotite. Down on the goal line, they're pounding. So they go with the fake and they run the waggle, and Mark Bavaro comes clean right away. See, just ducks underneath. Nobody covers him. He's all alone down here. Look at that. All by himself. Brister finds him. Touchdown.
Ruzek for the point after. Blocked again. That's 2 blocked points after today by the New Orleans Saints. Jimmy Spencer got it. And another one that was just hooked left by Ruzek. How often do you see 3 point after plays go afoul?
Jimmy Spencer again sees something off the left side. He's just going to come, flatten out. And look at this. That's a short corner by Mike Flores. And that allows the block kick.
The celebration's on. It's the 15th annual Toyotathon, our best yet. Sales are really pouring in on the #1 selling compact 4x4 and on the big Toyota T100. No wonder. Factory to dealer incentives, Toyota lease 4Runner option package savings. How's the truck supply, Mark?
This is Fremont, California, where it all begins for a lot of Toyota trucks. With Toyotathon here, they could sell out.
It can happen when you build the best.
Like we do.
From Fremont, California, straight to Toyotathon.
Don't miss out on Toyotathon. Get to your Toyota dealer today.
Want a taste you can't resist? There's no bag chip you can pop like this. Chips and bags got buster pieces. Brings you down with all their greases. The Pringles can't stop. The Pringles can't stop. You got the stack, you got the bunch. For a whole lot of taste of the Pringles crunch. You got the duck-bill lizard too. Only Pringles rings taste like this to you. The Pringles can't stop. The Pringles can't stop. So can those bags of fresh whole chips. Nothing like Pringles crush your lips. Yeah, once you pop, you can't stop.
These days, people who want to save money on lunch are brown bagging it. Because McDonald's original hamburger is still just 59 cents. Our delicious cheeseburger is 69 cents. And that is no baloney. Now McDonald's always has one extra value meal for $2.99. Might be this one, this one, this one, or to find out which extra value meal is $2.99, go to your local McDonald's. Because if you want to know, you gotta go. Come on, no food fights.
This game summary is sponsored by McDonald's.
A 30-19 lead now for the Eagles. Anderson with 4 field goals for the New Orleans Saints. And Roger Ruzek has had 2 PATs blocked, and he missed a third. Pretty unusual in any NFL football game. Meanwhile, between Mike Buck and Steve Walsh, the number's not too impressive. 3 of 13, although Walsh had that big setup pass to Floyd Turner that led to the Saints touchdown by Brad Mustard. So the hometown Eagles, like the Saints, and needing to win their final 2 games and get some help from elsewhere in the league to somehow weasel their way into the playoffs. 13-32 remaining in the 4th quarter.
You're down to weaseling your way in.
Well, 8 and 8s and 9s and 7s and stuff like that. 9 and 7 would have to be. Hughes. The ball is loose. Joseph picks it up, and it'll be ruled down at the 10. Britt Hager put the hit on Tyrone Hughes. And it'll be first down from the 10-yard line.
Tommy White ruled him down. If Vi Sikahema were to watch this, he would not like what he sees in Hughes, because Hughes tried to make something out of nothing, and it came back and bit him in the rear end.
Joseph picked up that loose ball, but they ruled him down by contact at the 10-yard line. In fact, it's now been spotted at the 14 with his forward progress before that spin-around wrestling throwdown by Hager. Diehard's getting into it, a hearty group of Eagles fans here today in this cold weather. Mustard plows out to the 20-yard line. Gain of 6. Andy Harmon on the tackle. Let's go back and take a look at that touchdown play.
Well, if you remember with that touchdown play, what they were doing was they were pounding this way the whole time. Now what they do is they'll fake here and they'll bring the tight end out, and he has really two options to go to. Here's the fake. They draws everybody over. Look at how everybody draws over here. Now look, here's a clean man, here's a clean man. Take your pick. It's Bavaro for 6.
Second and 4 as we're back live at the 20-yard line. Steve Walsh, the quarterback, in relief of Mike Buck, was ineffective. And that's picked up by Allen again and will walk in. Touchdown, Eagles. Intended for Torrance Small. Eric Allen again sniffed that out all the way. His 4th touchdown of the season on 6 pickoffs. And that ties an NFL record for the All-Pro cornerback, number 21.
Well, what he did was ran the route for him. And you can credit Walsh for looking all the way, and you can credit Eric Allen for great anticipation, seeing it, and making the break before the ball was ever thrown.
Well, Roger Ruzek will see if he can get one through here unimpeded this time. He does. And they give him a little extra there. All right, Roger. A somewhat bemused look on the kicker's face.
Debbie, these shots are fabulous. Beautiful, Debbie.
Better than the last time, Tony?
Absolutely. It's my job to make sure people look good. A few weeks ago while doing test shots with Debbie, I noticed something. Dandruff. So I told her about Head & Shoulders. You see, regular shampoos merely rinse flakes away, so they could come back. But look, Head & Shoulders helps stop flakes from even forming. You see the difference? Yeah, picture perfect. Head & Shoulders turns dandruff problems into beautiful hair.
Word on the street was they were a bad bet. An American institution, 3 days shy of extinction. Only one investment firm, Dean Witter, saw past the problems to the real value of the company. And a rumble was heard round Wall Street as the last American motorcycle company came roaring back to life with a listing on the New York Stock Exchange. From Main Street to Wall Street, at Dean Witter.
We measure success one investor at a time.
Introducing one of the most visually distinct automobiles you've ever seen, and the most technologically advanced Celica Toyota has ever created. The all-new Toyota Celica, with sophisticated safety systems, available ABS, standard driver and passenger side airbags. But despite all this technology, when people see the new Celica, there's only one thing that keeps coming to mind. Watch out, it's here.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Heineken, just being the best is enough. Head & Shoulders and Head & Shoulders 2-in-1. And by Dean Witter. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time.
Eric Allen's 4th touchdown on an interception, and that ties an NFL record. Ken Houston of the Vikings, Jim Kearney of the Kansas City Chiefs, and Allen, the Pro Bowl cornerback, Ken Houston of the Oilers, pardon me, and Kearney of the Chiefs, and a good 2-touchdown effort today by Eric Allen, picking off Steve Walsh. Tyrone Hughes returning it out to the 34-yard line, stopped by Chelensky.
Yeah, Eric Allen is in zone. Now see, Walsh never looked anywhere except one spot, and that's exactly what Eric Allen was reading. Now they went to zone, and all he did was he read the quarterback and then dropped and made the break on the ball before it was thrown.
2 of those today by Eric Allen. Derek Brown on first down. Ankle tackle right at the line of scrimmage by Andy Harmon.
Yeah, see Eric Allen on that touchdown. He's lined up. Now watch him break right here on the receiver before the ball's thrown. Now here it comes. See, there's the break. Now the ball's thrown. In effect, he ran the pattern for Walsh. anticipated very, very well. His second one of the day, 2 touchdowns for Eric Allen.
19 Philadelphia points off the Saints turnovers today. They kill it every single time. Walsh complete to Quinn Early, and Early gets about 9. Detroit leading the Bears 20-14, and it looks more and more as Green Bay walloping the Raiders 28-0 that this Central Division title race goes down to the final week. And indeed, Matt and I will be in Detroit next week at the Silverdome for that battle. Buffalo and the Jets have a real dogfight. Look at New England.
I think New England,
good for them.
Yeah, they got themselves a pretty good football team. You know, they have played close games all year long, and I think they've kind of turned the corner up there in New England.
3rd and a long yard. Muster has the first down, New Orleans. Over the 45 of the Saints. We're in the 4th quarter. Eagles in command of the score 37-19, but we have had a bunch of turnovers and quick scores of one kind or another. So with all this time remaining, there's certainly ample opportunity for the Saints to get themselves back into things. They had the early lead, 9-0. William Perry coming out for a little relief here on first down, New Orleans. Good open field tackle by Mark McMillan. Gain of about 2. McMillan, the 5'9", 160-pounder from Alabama. Well, the Giants and Dallas are playing in our doubleheader games, and Giants looking awfully good these last few weeks.
Yeah, well, the Giants have been the most consistent. I think Dallas is still the most talented. Phoenix is playing good football. Washington just had an unbelievable injured year.
Walsh on second down to Muster out of the backfield. Got about 3 to the 50-yard line.
Well, this is the kind of offense that I expected in the second half, going to the short passing game underneath. Unfortunately for Walsh, Eric Allen has known that and has really anticipated it to the tune of 14 points.
Saints with only 1 timeout remaining. Rich Miano has come into the secondary to join Eric Allen and company. Linebacker comes out, extra back in on 3rd down. About 6. Hilliard in the backfield, and Walsh goes downfield. He's incomplete.
Poorly thrown. Yeah, he knew where he had to go. He had man all over the field. He went with the single to Miano. Miano was right underneath, and then the ball just was underthrown. He had an opportunity for a good play.
Torrance Small had the step on the cornerback McMillan here, but the ball comes up short.
Yeah, well, he had time to throw. Mechanics were right. He just didn't get enough arm into it, because if that ball is thrown over the outside shoulder of Small, that's a big play.
Barnhart standing at his 35. Hits from the 40. Hit punt into the wind. And will be down at about the 13-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles, who with 8:33 remaining in this 4th quarter have a commanding lead. 37-19. Eagles on top. And this is now final. The Lions, who have picked up a lot of doubters the last several weeks, beat the Bears in Chicago. And they will now face that showdown next Sunday in the Silverdome against the Green Bay Packers, who shut out the LA Raiders today. Well, it's not over yet, but they have a 28-0 lead in the 4th quarter, shutting them out with 12:07 remaining. James Joseph digs it out to the 20-yard line.
Well, it's funny. When we spoke with Mike Holmgren at the beginning of the season, he had a feeling that this Central Division was going to come down to the last week of the season. And how prophetic was that? They're going in there, Detroit and Green Bay. It looks like they're going to both be 9-6 on the last week in Detroit. And it should be a good game.
Well, I thought this afternoon that you had the feeling that the Raiders might just beat Green Bay.
I'm surprised at that score.
28-0. Joseph to the 24-yard line, close to a first down. Vaughn Johnson made the tackle. Been dividing the time today with James Williams at linebacker, has Johnson.
Well, it's been a good job by the offensive line. Watch the offensive line just do a good job. They won't blow anybody. You won't see anybody going back this way, but you're going to see people on people. Look at this. Everybody on somebody. And that gives the running back the opportunity to pick his spot and then get into the linebacker.
They'll measure for this one. Brister, meanwhile, 20 of 29 today in these cold, windy conditions, 195 yards and 3 touchdowns. Bubby Brister has really made an impression on Richie Kotite and the management of the Eagles. He would be a more than capable backup to Randall Cunningham should he return. He says he'd like to come back to Philadelphia, but also says he'd love a chance to start somewhere, so no doubt he will test the free agent market.
Well, I think some guys are meant to be starters and some guys are meant to be backups. And I like what Bubby Brister is doing here in his starting role, but I think he's most effective as a backup. I think he's a guy you bring in on the sideline and you let him, off the sideline rather, you let him play, and then you let him play within himself. So you limit some things, and then you expect him to go out and get it done.
Hebron, the rookie, on 3rd and a yard, and it looks like he should have the first down. And he does. To the 25-yard line. Bailey and Williams come back in at the wideouts. Maurice Johnson leaves along with Hebron. First down, Eagles. 6:40, and the clock their ally now. On their last touchdown drive, that 17-play drive, they took 9:22 off the clock. And of course, with Allen's second interception return for a touchdown so quickly, they have now got themselves with a 37-19 lead. Herschel Walker. A couple out the right side. And some finger pointing and conversation going on down there. No Christmas greetings being exchanged.
I got to tell you that the New Orleans Saint defense, who had been having problems coming into this game stopping the run, hasn't done a bad job against the run. I think 35 carries today for what, 107, 108 yards, 109 there. That's a pretty good, that's under 3 yards rush. That's a pretty good day.
Second and 9 this time for the Eagles. Walker, nowhere to go that time. Sam Mills slicing through, and a flag comes down late. Loss on the play.
Sam's going to disagree with something being called here. That's a face mask. Now let's see if it was just a grasp or if it was a big one, 15 yards.
Tom White discussing it with his staff.
And here it comes right there. It looks like Wilkes gets his hand on the face mask.
Face mask. 5 yards, defense.
A grasp of the face mask.
Beat them down, 5 yards.
Those New Orleans turnovers, killers as they always are, turning into 19 Eagles points. And that is indeed the story of the game. 37-19.
Somewhere in all those warm-ups is Eric Allen. who scored 14 points himself on the 2 interceptions, has played himself and had an exceptional day.
2nd and 8, Philadelphia. James Joseph running hard has another first down, Philadelphia. We talked about their running backs. They've got a nice variety. They've got speed in the young rookie Von Hebron, who will only get better, of course. And then they've got this power running from Joseph and Walker. Keith Sherman, kind of a combination of the two. That's a nice group.
Yeah, it's a good 4 running backs, and they're really doing a good job of, again, staying behind the offensive line. That left side between Shad and McHale has done a pretty good job today. They've run behind the bunch, and they've picked up some decent yardage.
First down at the 36-yard line. An Eagles victory, which seems apparent, would ensure that both the Lions and the Packers will get into the playoffs. Lions victory today and the apparent Green Bay victory, setting them up for the title game for the Central Division next week. But they're both now in the playoffs, provided that New Orleans doesn't come back with some kind of miracle here. 3:51 left in this one. New Orleans will have their playoff hopes decimated with this loss here today to the Eagles, and the Eagles will stay alive, if albeit briefly. They need some help, and they go to the final week at San Francisco. Tall order to win a game that they must win and still have help. Joseph gets about 3.
They walk Othello Henderson up and give him that 8-man front. And what happens in an 8-man front is you end up having player for player across the front, 7 blockers on 7 defenders, and then the 8th one come up, kind of bastardizes the set, and then he's free to make the play.
Final score at Buffalo, where the Bills have defeated the Jets 16-14. And that means for the Buffalo Bills that they have clinched the AFC East. Tough battle up there at Orchard Park today, and the Bills prevailing. They have been a very good football team this last month. Shovel pass for Joseph, and it's just an incomplete pass. Picked up by the Saints, but that's a forward pass and an incomplete.
Like Joel Smengi is down, number 99.
.239 left in this one. And these game Eagles, we talked about their fighting spirit despite all of their setbacks this season. We've seen it again here this afternoon. Tim Ryan with Matt Millen at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. There is one of the heroes of the Eagles today, Eric Allen. 2 interceptions, returned for touchdowns, 4 for the season, tying an NFL record. Ken Houston of the Oilers, Jim Kearney of the Chiefs, a long time ago, folks, more than 20 years. So that is quite an accomplishment for Eric Allen. They're still attending to Joel Smengi, and now he's just getting to his feet. We're happy to see that out on the field. The linebacker of the Saints playing today, starting today for Ronaldo Turnbull. Turnbull has been in for a few plays with his thigh injury, and Smengi apparently all right. Eric Martin has not come back into the game following what we're told is a mild concussion. Jim Mora has just had himself a horrible season watching his team disintegrate from a 5-0 start. Punt taken by Hughes, and Hughes breaks loose. Oh boy, got a good block. One man can get him, and he's not going to. That's Frizzell, and it is Hughes for the distance. Tyrone Hughes.
Tyrone Hughes picked up a big block by Torrance Small on about the 43-yard line, and that allowed him to go 83 yards for the touchdown. You know, at the front of that, Herschel Walker had an opportunity to make the tackle, and for some reason, watch him come in right in the front, and he slows down. And then Hughes just, you're going to pick up a block right up here at the 43, right point, right there. You just saw it. Torrance Small knocked the guy down. And then he just outruns William Frizzell to the end zone, 83 yards for a touchdown.
His second punt return for a score this season for Tyrone Hughes. Great effort. So there's no quit in that young man despite the score of the game, and that brings it to 37-25. For the point after. 37-26 with 2:21 remaining in this football game at Veterans Stadium. Saints have only one timeout remaining.
Plus the 2-minute warnings that'll stop the clock.
Right, so they're not going to go away here yet. Eagles still in command, of course, but a big play like that gives them some spark for the final 2 minutes.
Now watch Herschel. He's in a position to make the tackle. For some reason, he just lets it alone. And then Hughes just picks it up, and then the big block up here by Small. Right there, you see him. Ruzek get drilled, and then pure speed. And a funny thing, Herschel kept on trying to run.
It is 37-26, the Eagles in front of the Saints. 2:21 remaining in the fourth quarter at Veterans Stadium. Most of the crowd here has left, confident that the Eagles will hang on to win this one. Eagles, after a 4-0 start, will get themselves to 7-8 if they hold on to win here. And the New Orleans Saints, after a 5-0 start, having won only 2 of their last 9 games, it looks like they are headed for yet another defeat. Mike Buck starting for the injured Wade Wilson. Wilson out with a knee injury. Steve Walsh coming in for Buck to start the second half, suffering 2 interceptions for touchdowns at the hands of Eric Allen. Anderson will attempt the onside kick. Saints are all lined up to the right side. Eagles with their hands team waiting for it. Calvin Williams is the man who has it, and he made sure. Good solid grab. And so the Eagles will have the ball and the first down at the 43-yard line of New Orleans. Well, don't forget, we're going to have a Friday afternoon game for you, New Year's Eve at 2:30 Eastern Time. The NFL Today will start it all off, followed by Jim McMahon and the Minnesota Vikings. They must win tonight. If they do, their playoff hopes would still be alive at Washington. Next Friday, it all starts with the NFL Today at 2:30 here on CBS. Eagles at the 43-yard line of New Orleans, 2:17 to use up. And the opportunity to keep their slender playoff hopes alive. Herschel Walker, 5, maybe 6. Pulled down by Othello Henderson and Gene Atkins, and we have a timeout with 2:03. 2:03 remaining. Jim Mora, of course, in some circles, certainly around the New Orleans area, a lot of disappointment in the team this year, coming under some heat. But that is one of the most consistent coaches in the National Football League. I can't imagine that he should be in any difficulty down there when things go badly as they did. The coach and the quarterback always take the blame, but that's a guy who maybe, if he could be blamed for anything, Matt, maybe a little loyalty to some of the older players. We've seen that with Mike Ditka. We've seen it with Joe Gibbs. It's hard for coaches who have had success with players as they start to fade a little bit.
And this team is getting a little old, and they have some things they need. They have to address the quarterback issue. They need a quarterback. They're getting old on defense. They have to be able to replace the players. And, you know, Jim Mora told us that he had a feeling this was coming watching this team in preseason. He just felt like his defense wasn't as dominant as it was. He had hoped, though, that they could put together some early wins and then stay with it, and they have not been able to do that.
Well, and I guess it's easy to say, and probably correct, they should never have let Bobby Hebert get away. It's not a reflection just on Wade Wilson, but you know, that decision and the financial battle they got into has proved to be costly, especially when you look at Hebert's year in Atlanta. 1:57 to go. We'll be right back. Chicago today. They need the Bears to lose again next week. They need Minnesota to lose tonight and next week. They got help from Atlanta today because they lost to Cincinnati. So they need another Chicago loss. They need 2 Minnesota losses, and they have to beat the Niners next week. That's a tall order, but who knows? They've got 3rd and 2 here on the 35.
Nice job by Walker at the end. Knew he had the first down and then made sure he wasn't going out of bounds. He just kind of laid down.
1:38 and counting down. And the remainder of the faithful here at Veterans Stadium enjoying this gutty effort, opportunistic effort on the part of the Eagles today. At the 27-yard line. Victor Bailey got hurt on a play in which nobody's supposed to get touched. He tripped over somebody, I believe. Well, we've got doubleheader action here on CBS. The Giants will be at Phoenix, Washington will be at Dallas, and the Buccaneers will be at Denver. So stay with us for more action today. The apparent New Orleans loss and the Lion victory today will clinch a playoff berth for Detroit, and next week they'll play for the NFC Central Championship against the Packers, who beat the Raiders today. Well, are about to. I think we haven't got a final on that, but they have that commanding lead. So some things have been cleared up this afternoon. 49ers have clinched the West, the Giants, Cowboys, now the Lions also in. The Oilers clinching the Central yesterday, the Bills today clinching the East in the AFC. And the Chiefs, if they should win their game, will clinch the West Division of the AFC. Jim Moore and Richie Kotite with their game farewells. And we credit this one to Eric Allen and the Philadelphia Eagles.
And Eric Allen played himself a very good football game, as did Bubby Brister. And I think that Eagle offensive line did themselves a good job today, too.
All right, for Matt Millen and Ella Fitzgerald with our Christmas music, this is Tim Ryan saying so long from Veterans Stadium. The final score, the Eagles 37, the New Orleans Saints 26. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after these words from your local station.